Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hey, it's Fox from Model Making Guru here. Hello, hello, and welcome. Excuse me. Hopefully you can all see and hear me. Oh, I'm going all Bernie Sanders. Hang on. Hopefully you can all see and hear me okay. Welcome, welcome. It's Friday, so it's not Warhammer Sunday. I need to clean my glasses. I've got a big fingerprint on my glasses. Welcome, everybody. It's another very last-minute impromptu GUNPLA TIEMZ stream. I'm still working on George's Patreon reward build of the Sazabi BB, Master Grade Sazabi BB, the car, the Shanghai Dragons, the Borderlands paint scheme. So I'm just cleaning my glasses. Yes, this is the custom paint job for George, one of my top tier patrons, and as a reward he's getting himself a big fat properly painted Master Grade Sazabi. In the style of, because he loves the Shanghai Dragons, in the style of the Shanghai Dragons livery, and in the style of Borderlands with the ink outlining and the watercolour effects and things like that. So yes, that's what we're doing. Now, if you remember the last episodes, last couple of shows, I was basically doing some dry brushing on the yellow armour components, which is what I'm going to be doing today. I've got all the armour painted red and yellow, and I'm now doing all the post shading to give it a pre-shaded look. It kind of makes sense as we go along. I've done a big chunk of the yellow, but I've still got lots and lots and lots to do. And we've just been doing the first initial dry brush coat. Now, if you've not watched one of my streams before, hello and welcome. It's basically just a chance for you guys to hang out. I'm doing boring, repetitive, tedious stuff like dry brushing highlights, which doesn't require thinking on my part and is kind of boring when you're sat here for 12, 14 to 20 hours doing it. So instead of just listening to podcasts, I figured, why not put this in some streams? You guys can hang out in the chat. You can keep me company. We can have a bit of conversation going. And it gets me at the bench. It gets me interested and happy, and I can carry on, and it gets me productive. So everybody wins. You get some nonsense to listen to in the background, because you're not really going to watch this much. There's nothing. It's just my magical comedy jazz hands, and that's it, really. So it's really just a chance for me to hang out with you guys while I'm working. It keeps me at the bench and it keeps me motivated and keeps me happy, bubbly, because I do get bored very easily. So that's what this is about. Now, as always, if you want to interact, obviously, if you're watching this somewhere, there is a live chat. You can see it here in the blue box. That's just the stream version of the chat. There is, of course, a live chat on the YouTube page. If you're watching this embedded in Facebook or Twitter or Ello or on the Patreon post, you can watch it there if you want, but why not click on the YouTube icon that's down here somewhere, down under the viewy bit on the menu bar where the slidey things are. Click on the YouTube icon, it will take you to the YouTube page where you can join in the live chat. And you want to join in the live chat for a number of reasons. One, everybody in chat is awesome and they're having a great time. Two, I will be giving stickers away later on. Yes, of course I will. I expect thy create to turn up at any moment. Yes, we'll be giving stickers away. You need to be in the live chat for that. And three, why not just join in the live chat anyway? It's fun. There's a lot of people in there. It's all jolly good fun. The more the merrier. That's what this is about. It's all hanging out and having fun. It's like in my lottery winning dreams. Here we go. In my lottery winning dreams, if I win bigly on the lottery, what I'm going to do is, round the corner from my street, there's like a row of shops. My big plan is to buy one of those shops that nobody cares about. Like there's an electrical contractor, so I'll just buy the shop and do it up as like, I'll live in the flat above and I'll just have the shop as open, free of charge to the public. Workbenches, modelling workstations, come in, build stuff, paint stuff, hang out, have a good time. There'll be a games console in the back. We'll just chill out, we'll make stuff. It'll be cool and it'll just be free to everybody to use. It'll be a communal workbench area in a big shop I'll convert. So that's what this is, just without me winning the lottery, god damn it, and without me having a shop. So that's the idea. Or like being in a pub together, but without the beer and with more sharp knives and things. So that's the idea. As always, like I say, if you want to hang out, do go into the live chat. Don't forget, of course, we do have the stream boss battle, as always, going on. Current boss is Simon Reynolds. Though it says Model Making Guru, that's because I screwed it up and I pressed the wrong button. So Simon Reynolds, or Kevin as we know him, is our current stream boss. If you want to become the stream boss, and you want to win yourself a big fat amount of Games Workshop or Warhammer or Forge World stuff, all you need to do is doing stuff to get Simon's health down. If you get his health down to 0, you become the new stream boss and you win a big pot of money. How do you get his health down? That's how you generate the money. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you can make sure you don't miss any future live streams that are going to be at the last minute. Also, don't forget you can put a tip through the tip jar, which is down here. streamlabs.com/model making guru. You can put a tip of however much you want, anything from $1 onwards, or you can also do a super chat, which is the little dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. You can do a super chat there. I'd show you, but it's kind of off screen. My chat's here on the iPad. You can do a super chat through there. Again, the more you put through a super chat, or the more you put through as a tip, the more of the health of Simon you take off, because every tip and super chat takes health off, and all that money goes into a big pot. And if you become the stream boss, you win basically that budget. And when Simon won, it was 499 quid. Depending where you are in the world, I will basically say, here's your budget. Tell me what you want me to order for you from either Games Workshop, Forge World, or if you're in the EU or the UK, Goblin Gaming, and then you can get 20% off there, and you can get even more if you're in the EU or the UK. So get your tip jars and Streamlabs and subscriptions and all kinds of things coming through to get Kevin's health down. Now, what else have we got going on? Yes, I'm just going to be painting today. A quick look at chat in a second. I do have Guthorm is here. He's just, everything's in the wrong place today. So Guthorm's there just at the top of shot. See if I can get his bill to stick out a little bit. There we go. But he's going to be right here where I'm painting. I don't want to get him covered in paint. I've got your chat right here so I can see it. I'm really warm already. I've got my enormous coffee of happiness. So today is going to be more dry brushing. I will get a piece and show you what we've done. If you didn't see the show on Wednesday, I was going to try and stream yesterday, but I didn't have a chance, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to. But yesterday, on Wednesday, what we did was I had all these parts here, all these parts on sticks. This is just the yellow parts of the armour. What we did was I went over them. They were primed in Mephiston red, because originally they were going to be red. Then they were primed in grey sear, both rattle cans. Then they were airbrushed with Avalanche Sunset, which is the yellow colour. And then on Wednesday in the live streams, what I did was I gave them a wash of Agrax Urshade to darken the yellow down and make them look a bit grubby. And then I went over with Avalanche Sunset, the base colour again, and dry brushed the Avalanche Sunset back. So I've got my post-shading effect. What I'm doing, instead of pre-shading, because I wasn't doing a lot of airbrush work, instead of pre-shading, what you do is you paint the base colour, you add a shade to it to darken the recesses, and then you bring the base colour back with dry brushing so that you end up with the shade in the recesses and round any lips and edges. You can see there around that raised bit. It's a long drawn out way of doing it, and if I was doing a complete airbrush paint job, I would just do pre-shading. But unfortunately, Citadel paints, I'm not doing a lot of airbrushing. Also, yeah, I prefer brush painting to airbrushing. It's much more fun. So that's what we did on Wednesday. We've still got some bits left. We've got these little bits here. We've got the sort of the 4 yellow patches for the arms. We've got lots of thruster bells and things like that to do. Not too much to do on those. We have some other little bits to do the same on. The 2 fuel tanks at the back and some feet parts, and also the the iconic what's it called, Bulbasaur, the Bulbasaur face, which is now going to be yellow. Bulba. I did ask George, because this is built. I did ask George if he wanted to actually paint a Bulbasaur face on that bit, and he's like, no, it might just become too distracting. So we agreed, yeah, we'll just do that. Now I'm not going to do the shield, the yellow part of the shield today, because I'm going to save this bit for. I'm obviously filming this. This build is also part of a video build series, but it's going to be the series is Patreon exclusive. So the actual video build series itself, you can only see that if you're a $10 plus patron on my Patreon page, which is there. patreon.com/modelmakingguru. So I'm saving that so I can do that for the filming part, because the film will be a proper video build where I explain all my techniques and stuff in detail. So I'm not doing that one. But today we're going to finish off doing the Avalanche Sunset, which is, remember, base colour, shade, and then bring back the base colour highlight areas. That's what we're doing. To leave the recess shaded. And then what we'll do is, once we've done that, we need to do a second highlight of Uriel Yellow. I hate that name, I can't say it. And this will be, if you imagine you've got, let's say, here, imagine this, you've got a square shape here. You do your shading to get shade around the edges. You want, ignore these lumpy bits. It's just a square panel with a panel line around the edge. You do your shading to get into the recess around the edges. You're going back with the Avalanche Sunset to almost to the edge, but not quite. So you've got a bit of a shadow. That's simulating pre-shading. Then your Uriel Yellow is it's the first highlight colour that will go in the middle of the panel, but not quite to the edge. And then the next colour I'm going to use is Phalanx Yellow, and that'll be an even smaller highlight, more towards, again, the middle of the panel. And you're getting this basic fade then from the Agrax Urshade darkened Avalanche Sunset on the edge, and you're working your way in through the other colours to Phalanx Yellow, or a highlight area in the middle. And that's the plan. That is, if you're wondering why I've got these, by the way, these are for the ink outlining stage later on. I just forgot to put them over there. There we go. Go over there. So today we're going to be carrying on with the Avalanche Sunset and then moving on to the Uriel Yellow. I hate that. I can't say it. My mouth falls over when it tries to say it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So basically similar to what we were doing in the last shows, but just a different colour. Each step will get quicker because for each thing you're dry brushing, of course, you're doing less and less with each highlight colour because each highlight gets smaller and smaller. So we might actually get it all done today. No, we won't. Let's have a quick look anyway. Pascal was the first in today. He says, hi all, have fun, won't be here, is still on in office. See ya. So he was technically still the first. He lived up to his part of the bargain, but he's not with us because he's working. Chris at Gross Models is in. Welcome, Chris, one of your mods. All my mods are awesome. I have many people act as mods on my YouTube channel. They're all wonderful, beautiful people. They're all really lovely. You'll have a great time with them. But if you piss them off, they will break you in half and feed you to the dogs. So don't be a spoon. I don't know why I say that. I don't need to say that because all you guys are awesome anyway. But yeah, all my mods are lovely. Eon's Car says, haha, hello. Welcome, Eons. And Nim is in. Wait, what? Stream now? Says Nim. What? Were you awake, Nim, or were you not awake yet? Chris says you should pop in and out. Chris will be at work. And now I know a lot of you will be at work, especially if you're in the UK or EU. A lot of you will be at work or school or college or wherever. The reason I'm doing all these streams at weird times during the day is if I can, I'm going to do one this evening as well. On Wednesday I did one in the afternoon and one in the evening. I'm going to try to. I might not be able to. Oops, something happened. James Fisher pledged £10 on Patreon. James, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. You're an absolute darling. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Yes, I depend on my patrons for my income. So all my patrons are deeply, deeply loved. What was I talking about? I've forgotten now. Oh, yes. So I try to vary things. When I do my Sunday stream, it's always at 3 p.m. And that kind of gives people a chance to join in before dinner in the UK and the EU. But of course, there's people outside the EU and the UK. There's people in America and South America, apparently. I've had one view from Greenland. I don't know how that happened. I've got one. If I go through my view stats, I keep getting an occasional view from Greenland. Awesome. If you're in Greenland and watching, thanks. And I get views from all over the place. So I like to vary it round so I can try and catch different people at different times. Some people are getting up for work. Some people are already at work. Some people are going to bed. So, you know. And Kenneth, bless him, who is in the chat. I did see him. Kenneth is in. He's in Australia. I think we've got a couple of Australians in. It's like, I don't even know what time it is now. Probably like 6:30 in the morning. So God bless you for coming in. But yes, I'll try and do them. I was going to try and start this a bit earlier, like sort of lunchtime, my time, but I didn't get a chance. So, but we'll see if we can do one later on today as well. We might not be able to. Might not be free this evening, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's have a look. Thy Creator. Oh, actually, I'd made a joke saying Thy Creator. He's out at the moment, but he will join later on. Okie dokie. Well, we're not doing stickers just yet, but I did joke saying now I've mentioned stickers. Thy Creator will, because Thy Creator comes in, takes all the stickers and goes. It's great. I love it. He's like, I've won my stickers. Thanks, bye, gone. He doesn't do any of the like niceties. As soon as he wins his stickers, he's gone. Thanks, bye. Love it. I think Thy Creator must be my biggest sticker in it. He must have the biggest collection of my stickers at the moment. Nim also says that she'll be on and off here as well, and then a question mark. I don't know why. I pressed a button. Streaming tips. Don't need streaming tips. I know how to stream. Eon's Car is in. It's going to be in regardless. Thank you. I did have a bit of a glitch at the start where it started. My streaming software fell over a bit, so I had to shut it down and restart it. So I don't know if you'll have noticed. Hopefully it didn't cause any problems with the link that I pasted earlier on. So hopefully that's all right. Let's have a look. Dad is in. Mike Mountain. Dad. Scaly Models. Another one of my mods. Lovely fella. Lovely little fella. Can't go wrong with Dad, but he will, like I say, break you in half and feed you to the dogs if you mess him around. Don't forget, of course, you are more than welcome. I'm a grown-up. You're a grown-up. You're more than welcome to do swearing in the chat if you want. Don't be a complete spoon, but you can do big sweary words if you want. I don't care. I'm a grown-up. It's not going to bother me. But I'm not going to read them out, the swear words, because I'm monetized, obviously. But do feel free. Let's have a look. Beck Storm says, ooh, caught one early afternoon. Oh, welcome, Beck. Welcome. Kenneth, like I said, is in. Kenneth from Australia. G'day, bro. Morning, El Montagna. Morning, Kenneth. Paul Di Tommaso is in from the Candy Factory. Good morning, all. Daniel Smith. Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Daniel. Christopher C. Afternoon. Dad asks how Kenneth is, and Kenneth says, not too shabby, much better for seeing you. Oh. When did we get the new retro intro, says Beck Storm. I've done some of these like last minute Gunpla streams before. And and I decided just to set up a proper like template for the intro and the outro and stuff, and the countdown just for Gunpla. So this GUNPLA TIEMZ thing going forward, that'll be the permanent thing for any last minute. The idea is with Gunpla, there's a lot of the tedious stuff like de-nubbing, prep, decals, where I could just sit and turn my brain off and do it, but I may as well, like I said at the start, I may as well hang out with you guys while I'm doing those bits. I can't do like when I'm doing complicated painting, because I wouldn't get any work done. Like when I'm doing the outlining on this thing, I'm not going to do a live stream for that. But I decided I may as well just set up a proper template so that whatever Gunpla build I'm doing, it will have those steps, and I can do live hangouts. And the other reason is, of course, there will obviously be going forward in the years into the future. Like I said, this is a Patreon exclusive build. Now, the thing with me is I can't really do more than one build at once. I've not got the time, the space, or the mental workings to do that. I get too easily distracted. So it does mean that when I'm doing a Patreon exclusive series, people who aren't patrons are kind of missing out. They're not getting any content on YouTube. You may notice for a while there's no real content on the channel because I've just been tied up doing other stuff, but also doing the Sazabi build. So I want to be able to give you something. So while the build series itself is Patreon exclusive, you need to be a patron to watch it. The actual stuff like this, where I would, because like doing this bit now, this dry brushing, I would literally in the build video, I will literally film dry brushing that with each colour, and that's it. That's literally 15-20 minutes of work and filming. That will be the entire section on post-shading. That's like a 2-minute section in the video and like half an hour of work to actually film, half an hour of actual filming. But this is like 10 to 12 hours of actual work. So for the rest of that time, I'm sitting around just doing it, and I'm thinking, well, why not give you guys something? I want patrons. Give you guys something. It's something you can watch. We can hang out. May as well, rather than just sitting here and listening to podcasts. So I set up the setup for the GUNPLA TIEMZ. So this will be the format now with the funky chill out music and the little 15-minute countdown and stuff. I might change the other Warhammer Sunday one to 15 minutes. I don't know yet. Retro Rabbit Studio says, morning from Canada. I've got to do it again now. Yes, my favourite country. I can't put this flag back now without moving the camera everywhere, so I apologise. I'll just have to... Hang on. It requires... It's just in the wrong... There's a brush. I'm just leaving it there. There we go. It's hard to get to put it back. Yes, welcome. Never fear, Kevin is here, says Cy Kevin Reynolds, your current stream boss, another one of my mods. It's a bit suspicious, that, isn't it? One of my mods and he's a stream boss. You're thinking, hello, favouritism. No, he did actually blop through donations to become the new stream boss. Aviad was the previous stream boss, and Cy was like, right, I'm not having that. Blop, here's a big tip of like 200 quid, bam, I am the stream boss. Yeah, so he became the stream boss. And he got himself 499 quid's worth of Games Workshop stuff. That was nice. So remember, stream boss, get your things through. Let's have a look. What else we got going on? Yes, welcome Retro Rabbit Studios. Kevin says, well, I say here, I'll be in and out. I'm guessing you're at work, or you're working, so. Kenneth asks Dad if Dad is painting, and Dad says, I'm going to do some priming. What are you doing today, Kenneth? Are you working on something? Are you working on your alien? Or are you Predator, sorry? Or are you working on your Siri? What are you working on? Kenneth likes his big, massive resin figures. He's very, very good painter at it. Nim says, so I shall ask the question before Dad. It's very early. We've not even got into the work yet, but Nim has already asked the question, so it's been done. Nim has asked the question. Bench and belly. What's on your bench? And what are you having for your dinner, or what have you had for your dinner? What is planned? You could be eating it right now, for all I know, depending on where you are, or what have you got planned. So it's food and fiddlings. What you're working on, what you're fiddling, and what you're fooding later. Der Modelbau Nerd says, hi, willkommen, Der Modelbau Nerd. Welcome. New name, not seen your name in the chat before, but you're more than welcome. I will be doing some work in a minute. I'm just doing the waffle before. Let's have a look. I had a Subway for lunch, says Chris, and I have broken watches on the bench. Oh, that's the doorbell. A parcel's just arrived. I think it's probably from Mama Fox. I've just got to listen for a second to make sure Mama Fox isn't asleep on the sofa. No, she's answering the door. That's good. She sometimes has a snooze on the sofa and doesn't hear the doorbell. Chris, you've made the egregious error. You know what you've done? You said you had a Subway for lunch. You haven't told us what kind, what's in it. Was it meatball and cheese, or was it just a rubbish sandwich? Because if it's not meatballs and cheese, it's not really interesting. But was it meatballs, or was it and other? We need to know. You know the rules, Chris. You know the rules. Dad says, Nout in the belly and Scrapjet on the bench. Yeah, Scrapjet's fun. Retro Rabbit Studios says, Fox, I totally forgot to send my address last time I won a sticker. I'm the worst. I did actually name and shame you a couple of shows ago. I threw out all the stickers and said, here are all the people that are schmucks and haven't sent me their name and address for the last 6 months and they're all waiting. I do have your sticker, so just make sure to send me your name and address. Just put sticker in the title and just make sure your email includes your name, your real name, so I can put it on the envelope, your address, where you want it to go to, and also your YouTube handle, so I know if if you put Bob Smith and here's an address, I'll be like, I haven't got a sticker with Bob Smith written on it. So yeah, I need to know your name, your address, and your YouTube handle. And by the way, just to reassure everybody, when we do stickers later on, basically if you win one, you have to mail me with your details. I don't keep your details. As soon as I send the stickers out, I delete your email completely. I don't keep addresses and names, things like that. I've got the sniffles already. Well, fantastic. A modelling pub, says Kenneth. Yes. Nim is working on the master grade camphor and belly to be decided later. Yes. Eon's car has got on his bench is a Primaris chaplain and the helmet of the Primaris captain sausage sandwich. Wait, we've got a comma missing there. I'll go through that again. Bench is the Primaris chaplain and the helmet of the Primaris captain, and on the bench in the belly is sausage sandwich. Don't know for tea yet. Ooh, sausage sandwich. Paul Di Tommaso has a few things to take care of for his sister's wedding, which is tomorrow. Congratulations to your sister for her wedding. Now I'm going to embarrass myself with German. Der Modelbau Nerd says, Lasse dir mal ein Abo da. I don't know what that is. I don't read German. I mean, I can't translate it. So I hope it was nice. Willkommen auf dem GUNPLA TIEMZ shenanigans. Let's have a look. Dad says red. Did I hear red? Yes. Let's have a look. Dave's World says morning resin heads, and Cy Reynolds says makes us sound like druggies. Paul Di Tommaso says hasn't a resin kit or conversion kit yet. Tom is in. Tom Nicholas, welcome Tom. We are druggies, plastic druggies, says Dave's World. This is true. Have I seen you in chat before, Dave? If not, welcome. I'm sure I have. Let's have a look. Retro Rabbit says on the bench is a Maschinen Krieger MK44 and breakfast is coffee. Talking of coffee, it'd be rude not to. Nom. Tom says nothing in the belly yet. Lunch is a couple of hours away. Masking is the high grade Sazabi gold parts and Star Wars Legion land speed after I found some clothes. Folds. God, I panicked then. Fold some clothes. I was like, God, don't be telling me you're naked. Kenneth was trying to paint leather earlier today after doing a one-on-one coaching session with Shoshi from Shoshi's Magnificent Minis. Cool. I hope I pronounced that right. Shoshi or Shoshi? Shoshi. Wow, that's like, yes, it's James Bond is smashing. Outstanding, Marine. Yes, I'm Sean Connery. I'm now playing a Russian, but you may not know because now I'm playing a Spaniard and it also sounds the same. Yes, smash. Outstanding. That was a terrible, terrible impression. Sean Canary. Retro Rabbit says King Schmuck. Nah, trust me, there's worse. Some people who should remain nameless, Chris from Gross Models, actually asked why is cheesecake called cheesecake. That's pretty much higher up on the level there, I think. KBZ Doofus, welcome, says morning, afternoon, all bench, wet sanding a pop socket my girl got me that I painted in Spaz Sticks colour shifty stuff. That's a lot of words in a sentence that if you didn't know what all that was, you'd be like, I don't even know what that means. Painting a pop socket in my girl got me that I painted in Spastics colour shifty stuff. I know what that means, but if you didn't know what any of those were, you'd be like, this words. Then breaking down the Saz for clears. Belly was coffee and eggs and bacon. Yes. I got the last. I wonder if there's a way to combine coffee and scrambled eggs into the same pile of food, because you can flavour scrambled eggs. So I wonder if somebody who can do scrambled eggs and cooking and stuff. Try and come up with a way of combining scrambled eggs with coffee in the same pile of scrambled eggs. Oh, that'd be delightful. Oh. Dave's World says, I got last few touches to finish on the Berserker and filming next week's resin tutorial. Awesome. Kenneth says, do you forget everyone's names after sending stuff? Pretty much. Yeah, the thing with me is I do have, not only, I have the worst memory in the world, pretty much all the time. I have a terrible memory. And I am actually rubbish at remembering people's names. It's not because I don't give a crap. Some people I know really well, I still forget the names. It's just that I have a rubbish memory for things like names and stuff like that. I'll remember weird things about people, but I won't remember the name. I'll remember their face, and I know them, and I'll be like, I know what you did. I might meet someone, and I'll see their face, and I'll say, I know you built this, you painted that, you said this in the boom, you did that, you did this, but I can't remember what the hell your goddamn name is. I'm terrible with names. So if ever I forget someone's name, please don't be offended. The reason I call people dude and things a lot is because I'm going, hey, dude, how you doing? Because I can't remember the damn name. You'd be surprised the number of times I meet people in real life. Like when I'm out shopping, it's like, they go, hey, Fox. I'm like, hi. I'm in my brain, I'm going, I've no idea who you are, but I guess I probably know you, but I'll just say hi. How are you doing? Yeah, you. I'm a master of that. Yeah. Let's have a look. Daniel Smith says, belly pulled chicken burrito. Oh, stream's over. I'm going out to get burritos now. Bye. Bench some chain rasps for the Age of Sigmar Hachette partwork. Cool. Christopher C says, coffee and Tamiya 4 GT. Nice. Don't worry, I have more than one outfit. Nudity is purely for fun answering the door, says Tom. Oh. Dave's Will says, yeah, I rarely make your lives. There's about 6 AM here, but part of the Facebook group, last name Star Shadow. There we go. I knew something. Coffee powder in your scrambled eggs, says Beck. Oh, yes. Have you tried butter coffee? It sounds odd, but it is nice. I haven't. I didn't even know it was a thing. I was stifling a burp then. I don't know why. It would have been funny if I burped. I haven't, but I have now. And you can see that may happen. Merritt Philiban is in. Welcome, Merritt. Not seen you for a while. Can't wait for the resin content, Dave. Super stoked. Welcome, Merritt. I've not seen you for quite a while. Retro says, I like coffee and no eggs. Oh, Retro says, no. Eggs plus coffee equals culinary abomination. A bit like fish and cheese. You've clearly never had a curry that involves fish and cheese. Because that's quite interesting. Have I missed any work then? Of course not. Don't be daft. He's still rambling, says Nim. I can't be the only one who's tried to mix coffee and tea, says Bet. Yeah, we've all done it. It doesn't work. We've all done it. I can attest to his bad brain, says Jerry. Of course you can. Can you thingy, says Dad. Coffee, scrambled eggs and bacon has been combined already. Bacon, eggs with red eye sauce. Red eye sauce is made with ground coffee. Ah. I usually catch your stuff after it's been live, Merritt. There, it says Merritt. Yep, that's why I like to do these things sometimes earlier and sometimes later, just to let everybody have a chance. Especially during the week when it's like, most people are at work or school or college, all that. So I like to give people a chance. I've got the sniffly nose already. Let me get the tissue of sniffle reduction. Hang on. Oh. Ooh. It's when the lights go on. I do apologise for being sniffly. Sniffle, sniffle, sniffle. Right, so let's do some goddamn work, monkey fluffers. It is dry brushing time. You know it's dry brushing time. It's time to dry brush. Take my ring off, because that's just going to rip my glove to shreds. Do. Ow. I'm putting on gloves, because I don't want to... not because I don't want to get anything on the paint, but purely because the Avalanche Sunset, I need to, I need to wipe my nose again. I've just put gloves on, for crying out loud. Oh, come on, brain, sort yourself out. Right. My body sometimes. Finally get started and stops rambling for now, at least, says Nim. Never. Yes, I did airbrush on the Avalanche Sunset. And the thing with acrylic paints is they are like delicate emo children. Delicate emo teenagers that if you just even look at them the wrong way, all the paint just scrapes off. So I like to try and reduce the amount of contact I have with the paint if I can, just to make sure I'm not, because I'm going to be dry brushing these and they're going to get rubbed to heck. So I don't want to ruin the scratch. I mean, it doesn't really matter because I will be doing paint chipping, but I'd rather just keep it to a minimum. So we're going to carry on with the Avalanche Sunsets. Now these are actually all on this piece of foam and they're all taped down. That's 3M tape. If you've got little tiny parts and you're not sure, you can't get them on sticks, just get yourself either, you can use double-sided tape or just get yourself a big roll of some kind of tape. Just tape them down. That's what I do. Get a load of figures, stick them on tape. There you go. You loop the tape over and you're done. Yeah, no, Fox rambles a lot, says Eon's car. Of course I do. It's what I'm known for. It's absolutely what I'm known for. I made a decision a long time ago. You know, when I'd be like, before I started doing all this, you know, I used to watch other people's stuff. Of course I did. Because when I got back into the hobby, I knew that I'd been out of the hobby for a long time. And there was a lot of stuff I thought to myself, I've not made a model in 20 years. And when I was making models, it was basically paint and a black wash, and that's all I knew. There's going to be a whole load of stuff I don't know. So before I go anywhere and do anything, I need to just gen up on all the latest techniques and methods and things like that. So I binged YouTube for a few weeks, you know, just to catch up on things that I may not have known about. And a lot of the stuff I did know about, and I was like, oh yeah, I know that, and I know that. But there were things I didn't know about. But I watched people doing like live streams. And at this point, I hadn't planned on doing live streams at that point. I was still just doing pre-recorded stuff. But I watched some people doing live streams. And there were, you know, the good ones out there. They were all right. But there were some live streamers, and I won't mention names, obviously, because that's not very good, but I won't mention names. But there were live streams where I'd watch the live stream, and it might be, you know, 2 hours long. A 2-hour long live stream. And the streamer would say, you know, something at the start, hey everyone, hello, welcome guys, we're going to be doing this, this, and this. And you might talk to them a little bit and look at the chat for a minute. And then they get on with whatever they're doing. And some of them, they just get on with what they're doing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, you're not telling people what you're doing. You're not explaining anything. Why are you live streaming? Because I understand the whole point is of a live stream like this is not, you're not actually gonna. Paul's got to step out. I'll be back soon. See you in a bit, Paul. You're not actually really watching this to watch it. It's not like you're watching a how to do something video where it's, you know, half an hour, how to paint X or Y, or how to, you know, not stab yourself with a pen or whatever it might be. It's not like a tutorial video. And I know that for a lot of people, this kind of live stream where I'm just cracking on with something, like I say, you're not necessarily, excuse me, you're not necessarily watching it. You have it on, a lot of people just have it on in the background and they listen to it while they're doing something else. Like, you know, you might be, I mean, I've done it in the past where I'm watching, say Chris's live stream, or, you know, somebody else's live stream, or anybody's live stream, and I've just got it on in the background while I'm playing on the Xbox or something else, or doing something on the Xbox where I can pay attention to the stream audio and play the game at the same time. And it's a good way to consume it, because it really, it's more of the live streaming like this where you're just working at the desk is more of an audio podcast. It's more like a one-man podcast than an actual live stream of, you know, watching. But, you know, ideally what you want to do is you want to be doing something. You want to explain to the people who are watching what you're doing. And I will do tutorials in these things. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'll explain why I'm doing it and how it works and everything else. So that if you're listening but doing something else at the same time, you can go, oh, hang on, I want to watch this bit because he's going to tell me how to do X, Y, or Z. And then when I've shown that, you know, you can zone out again and go back to doing what you're doing, but have me playing in the background. I know a lot of you just do that. It's more of an audio podcast. So to watch this specific person, again, I won't name names, but this specific person who literally said hello, answered a couple of comments in the chat, and then just sat there for, and I tell you, this thing was 3 hours long, basically just sat there for 3 hours doing whatever he was doing, working on whatever he was working on, only to occasionally acknowledge the fact that anybody was even watching. You know, occasionally just mention something in passing. I think in the whole thing he spent, like, once the person actually stopped for a few minutes and read some of the comments in chat. But I was watching this and I'm like, why it frustrated me because I'm thinking, how can you expect someone to sit and watch your content and engage with your content if you can't be bothered to engage with the people that are actually watching in some way or form? And whether that's either, you know, either talking to them directly like I do to you guys in chat, or whether it's just giving them something to listen to, talking while you're working, so at least they've got something to listen to. It's a one-man radio play. It's a, you know, talk about stuff, talk about anything. And it's not, I mean, you know, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. I'll grant you that. It's not something you can just do straight away. Some people are naturals, and some people it takes a while to get used to it. But so I looked at this and I vowed to myself, because I was still learning. I vowed to myself, I was still learning at this point, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit there and utter 3 words an hour, because the whole point is, if I'm going to do live streaming, I'm hanging out with the people who are watching. I want to have conversations with them. I want to, if not be talking to them directly, then at least just have a laugh with them and hang out and just have a good time. On these engines thruster bits here, I'm actually just doing an edge dry brush. On the others, I'm doing little circles. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I'm not really going to worry about these beam sabers too much, because they are mostly hidden inside. So they just get the tips done. So yeah, I can't imagine doing a live stream where I'm not interacting with you guys. And the thing is, while I'm doing this, while I'm painting, there's 2 options I can do. I can basically sit and read the chat, hang out and talk, or I can crack on, and then, although I'm not actually reading the chat, I'm still talking to you, so I'm still interacting with you in some way or form. So that's why I do these kind of constant non-stop. I get it's a running joke that I never shut up, and I don't. It's true, I don't shut up, and I hate that sometimes. But when it's something like this, it's a live stream, I have to just keep talking, because if I don't, you're just sitting. I mean, if I just sat here like this, but imagine like 3 hours of that, you'd be like, you're not going to sit and watch it. It's background audio. But if there's no background audio, why are you wasting your bandwidth streaming something you're not watching and you can't listen to? So I mean, it's dumb. So I vowed never to do that, never ever to do that, because that would just be ass. So let's do these bits now. These are the big scary bits. So we have the fuel tanks. We have this little, I don't know, it reminds me of something, but I can't think what it reminds me of. A bit of the foot. We have Bulbasaur. We have some. I realised I made a terrible mistake. I've painted the thrusters on the shield yellow, and I've also got the top of the shield yellow. And I'm not going to paint that. I'm not going to work on that, because that's going to be saved. Like I said, that's going to be saved for filming when I film for the video episode. So I'm going to switch up for a bigger brush in a second. But for while I'm doing this bit, I'll use a little brush. I'll have a quick look at the chat. So yeah, I don't get people that do that. They just don't interact, and there are people that just they might sit and talk like me. They might talk for the whole duration of the stream, but they never really talk to the people that they're interacting with, that are in the chat. That's quite frustrating. You know, if you're streaming solo, you want to have a relationship with the people in the chat. So it's not easy, I know that, but still, you've got to, you know, I'm only here for you guys. If you guys weren't here, I'd be just talking to dead air, and there'd be no point in being here whatsoever. So it makes no sense to me to ignore you guys. It's rude. Talking about me scratching paint off, he says, Merritt says, had that on a few parts, probably from handling some of the parts during reassembly for a turntable shot post-priming. Luckily, it was only a few small parts. I was talking about scraping the paint off. The one thing with acrylics, like I say, is they're so delicate. There is one advantage there. If you're going to do a weathered build, like when I did my Chimera tank, when you're handling a model and you're painting it, especially if it's got lots of brush painting, you will rub off paint, and sometimes right down to the plastic, because it's acrylics. But if you're doing a chipped build, sometimes that's actually not a bad thing, because it adds to the paint chipping and also looks like stuff you've painted on. So I don't really get too worried normally. And if I do scrape any paint off on these, I will be doing chipping anyway, but I'd like to keep it to a minimum if I can. I dislike Paul. I dislike streamers like that, says Eon's car. I'm going to clean this brush off because it'll go crispy. I dislike streamers like that, says Eon's car. Yeah, basically, it's almost rude because it's not acknowledging that people are taking time out of their day to watch your stream. And if you're not talking to them and you're not really talking at all and you're just streaming what you're doing, then not only are you not acknowledging that they've taken the time out of their busy day to sit their ass down and watch your stream, you're also not really acknowledging that you value that at all. You're not, I want you guys to know how much I really, really appreciate the fact you're taking time out of your day to sit and listen to me waffle on about bollocks, but hey, hey, I'm just gonna move on anyway. Ian's car says, Nick Siam and Valrak, whom I watch their live streams, talk and interact with their audience. It's the best way to go. It is the way to go. There are really good streamers out there, but there are some that are just like, they don't seem to understand what the whole point. Nobody watches this kind of stream to watch the stream. I mean, I do, because I like to, especially if it's one of my friends' streams, I like to watch and see what they're doing, and I'll be interacting in the chat as well. And I'm a mod on quite a few channels, so I'm watching anyway. Retro Rabbit says, I watch because I love your work, also having my coffee and prepping for class later today. I'm 38 and back in school. Awesome. That's not anything to be ashamed of. Yay, electronics engineering. There you go. So you're learning a hardcore, it's a masculine then, don't know why. Hardcore, awesome thing there, electronic engineering. I don't understand electronics or electrics or anything. I can't even wire a plug. I'd kill myself wiring a plug. Nim says, the question is, are there any unique markings other than the box standard markings out there that I could be looking to make it a little special, like a pin-up girl or something? Do you mean for the Sazabi or for whatever it is you're building? Oh, actually, there's another thing. She says, so for you tankers out there, I've ordered my first tanker, US Sherman World War II Tamiya 1/35th scale. And she wants to know, are there any other markings that you can put on it? Yes, absolutely. Go on, just do Google searches for third-party decal sets, especially on eBay. There's loads of companies that will make third-party decal sets, and loads of companies that will do like pin-up girls and stuff. I hate to say to people, just Google it, but just Google it. Trust me, there's lots of companies that will do like aftermarket decals. Aftermarket decals is the phrase you're looking for. There's tons of them. Merit Philibin says, at that point it may have been better to post a time lapse. Yeah, if you've got one of these streams where you don't talk to anybody. Nim says, I know the little Meng toon tank had a decal that read Classy Peg. Classy Peg, it's a Peg? It's on my wallpaper on my PC. Classy Peg, I think it says. The thing is, keep in mind, of course, with things like that, where they've written something on the side of a tank, that's just painted on with a big fat brush. They just go, it's just some GI painting on the side with a big fat brush. So that kind of marking, you can hand paint. Because they painted it with a big yard, whatever brush they could find, and whatever usually whitewash. There you go. They just whatever. When it was proper nose art like stuff, like not nose art on a tank, but like pin-up girls and stuff. Okay, it was still brush painted by one of the GIs, so it wouldn't have been brilliant, but it was better. You probably can't hand paint to that level. But yeah, just look up aftermarket just aftermarket 1/35th tank decals, anything like that. You'll find there are tons, mostly on eBay, but there are lots and lots. There'll be loads out there. There's a website called it's called, I don't know if it's UK or US, but it's Add-on Parts. I don't know if it's a .com, or it might not actually be called Add-on Parts, but it's called Add-on Parts, and they do a lot of 1/35th and 1/72nd add-on parts, things like oddly furniture. I got a 1/72nd scale Persian rug, actually made of material that I used doing a diorama. They do lots of like posters and decal sets and stuff like that. So absolutely, yeah, there'll be lots out there. Merit Philibins, I'm saying your name wrong. Merit Philban. I keep saying calling you Philiban. Merit Philban says, I'd like to get in some streaming eventually. Just need a streaming setup. I've had a bad internet connection in the shop. I have to figure that out. Yeah, things like your camera and microphone is an easy one. I strongly recommend this. I nearly said a Yamaha. Hang on. I need coffee. I can't even talk. Strongly recommend a Logitech C920. A lot of us use them. It's kind of an industry standard feed for streaming. It's what I'm using now. They're a doddle to use. They're really good quality. They're a bit. Some of the settings are a bit hidden and a pain in the bum, but they're really good quality. Don't use the microphone on it because it's made of ass. Another good standby quality microphone is the Blue Yeti. A lot of me and a lot of other people I know and a lot of streamers use the Yeti Blue. Start again, Fox. The Yeti Blue Yeti microphone. I'm getting ahead of myself and just talking absolute drivel. But obviously you don't have to go for those. But they're two of the better ones. Let's have a look. I want to hear the brushstroke, says Tom. That and it produced some content that doesn't take as much overhead to produce my main YouTube content. Yes, that's the other thing about streaming. If you are a YouTuber like us, if you produce tutorial videos, how to do thing videos, like we do, then you'll know that, for example, I've said this before, if I've got something that I'm building and painting, it might take me in real world times, it might take me a week to build and paint a particular model. Let's say I'm building my, you know, Boomdacker Snazwagon. Let's say I'm building and painting that and I'm doing a full video tutorial. If I just built and paint the Boomdacker Snazwagon, I might work on it for maybe a week. A day to put it together, and the rest of the week to do all the painting and weathering and fussing with it that I might do. All the bits and bobs. Now, if I'm filming that, that's just if I'm doing it myself in my own time. If I'm filming that, that's a whole different story. Because there's two ways to film, and you may notice my style's changed a little bit over the last few films. There's two ways to film. There is the old way I used to do it, which was just film each step, talk about it for 5 or 10 minutes and say, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this, 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 and this, and here's me now doing it. And then I do a little bit and I'll say, now I'll go off and do the rest. Or the way I'm falling into now is the quite simple way of have a little bit of talky, but then what I'll do is I'll just film shots of me doing each step and then do a voiceover later. Now the one where I'm just doing the little film of me doing something for like 5 minutes and then I'll add the voiceover later, that's actually much faster and much more efficient, because the problem with doing talking and filming at the same time when you're actually physically doing painting is if I screw it up, I have to film it all again. Or if I screw up the talking bit while I'm doing the painting bit, I then have to redo all the painting. Especially if I've got one thing to paint and I screw up the talking bit and I've already then half painted it, you're kind of knackered. And it takes twice as long. And then you've got all the editing and post-production and everything else on the end of that. It can, whichever method I'm using, that build that took me a week, just doing it for myself, now takes me 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, maybe longer. Because whichever way I'm doing it, it's shorter if I'm just doing the film and then voiceover later. But whichever way I'm doing it, I'm stopping and starting. And for each step, for example, it's a case of, right, what's the next step? The next step is I need to do, let's say the next step is I've got to do some paint chipping. Well, I need to film a bit. Let's say I'm doing a build and I've just finished doing the base coating. And then I'm going to start, I've just finished, say, doing some highlighting, like I'm doing now. And then the next step is to do some paint chipping. So what I would do is, I would do all this bit now, the dry brushing. Already filmed a little bit and that kind of stuff. So I'd get all that done. When I finish that, I'd then film a little bit to camera saying, okay, so this is all the dry brushing done. You can see what the effect is. This is what it looks like. The next step is to do paint chipping. And here's how we're going to do it. And I explain to camera what I'm going to do. How we're going to do it, and that might take me 5 minutes to film, because it's only like maybe 2 or 3 minutes of talking. Might take me a couple of minutes to film, or it might take me a long time because I keep screwing up my lines constantly, and I have to keep doing take after take. And you will do that. You will constantly have to redo lines because you're not reading from a script. So you'd film okay, this is where we are at the last step now. So next step is to do, let's say, paint chipping. Let's go and do that now. So I filmed the bit with me saying what I'm going to do. That might take me an hour because I keep screwing up my lines. Then what I'll do is I'll film like 4 or 5 minutes of me just doing the chipping. But that requires, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. I've got to set up the camera, not this camera. I use a phone as my camera, my iPhone, old iPhone 5S. I've got to set up that, set up the microphone, make sure that's working, do a quick test video take to make sure that everything's in focus and that the white balance is fine and that the audio is fine and not clipping. Make any adjustments if that's not right. This is like 10 minutes. Just getting it set up, checking the light levels and the audio levels and stuff, checking all that. Then once I've done that, I can then film, let's say 5 minutes, just without talking and stuff. I might have the microphone there on just in case I want to use the audio, and I'll do some talking. Sometimes I'll talk anyway, but then I'll just get rid of the audio later. So I'll do it on the off chance. But I'll film that. I'll then, as soon as I finish filming that bit, I'll transfer it to the computer. Hang on, 1 second. I went all Bernie again then. I'll transfer it to the computer and I'll have a quick whiz through it just to make sure it's all still in focus and all the, everything looks good. And if I'm lucky, I can say that's a clip in the can, done. I'll put that aside for later on. And I'll just then crack on with the rest of, say, that paint chipping step, which might take me however long. And then when we finish the paint chipping and I've done all that, I'll film a bit saying, here's now all the paint chipping done. What's the next step? I'll do the same thing again. But that setup and doing takes can take 5 minutes. It can take an hour, especially if I film 10 minutes of work, and then when I transfer it to the computer, suddenly find, oh look, the video was out of focus for half of it because I locked my focal point here and I held the thing here. So that can be a pain in the bum, or the video file can corrupt or whatever. So it does make things take a lot longer. So making videos like this, it's not hard work, it's just a lot of work, and it does slow the process down. So a build that can take a week could now take 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And doing live streams like this is a godsend, even for an atheist like me. It's a godsend because it's just turn on the camera, start working, film, talk, finish the camera, turn the camera off, content. There you go. It's taken me no time at all. It's taken me literally the time it took to turn on my computer, press the button to go streaming. I've checked the camera focus and everything else and the audio before 5 minutes. Press start streaming, done. A couple of hours content, done. So for me, it's not only is it quick content because there's very little production involved. Turn the lights on, turn the camera on, press the button. But also it's good content because I'm hanging out with you guys. So I do value this kind of live streaming content. It's a lot less stressful. It's a lot less production intense, and it's just immediate. You're watching me do it 30 seconds after I've done it. So, and plus, like I say, it's keeping in mind as well. One other thing. This is all inside baseball now. The other thing to keep in mind as well is, if I spend a week at the bench filming, that's me spending a week at the bench filming. Kind of lonely in a lot of ways because I'm at the bench. I'm not in an office with my colleagues who I might like. I'm not, got workmates. I just sit here doing my thing, and it's nice to be able to do my thing and talk to you guys at the same time. I'm not trying to do a poor little me kind of nonsense. It's not that bad, but it is like, when you're self-employed like this, it gets, not lonely is a bit of an intense word. It's you do miss the contact. I mean, every job I've had up to this one, obviously, every time I've worked in an office, I've hated that job with a passion. Every single office job I've had has been absolute bish, without exception. But what made each job good and palatable were the friends that I made in those jobs. I had a job. If you've seen my stuff, you may not know this, but most of you do. But between 2007 and about 2010, I had a webcomic. I drew a webcomic called Avoid Spikes. It's no longer online in the original website. That's now long gone. I did archive all the strips on my current website though, modelmaking.guru or modelmakingguru.com. They're all on there if you want to go and watch it. There's a tab on the top called Avoid Spikes. But for like 5 or 6 years, I did this comic strip, and that was my saving grace because I wasn't doing this at the time and I wasn't recording any music. So I'd go to my job. I hated my job. It was a terrible job. It was mind-numbing. It was office work. It was like, I hated it. But I'd come home, and at the weekend, I'd spend all weekend drawing each strip. But what made the job palatable, and what made it an advantage, was that pretty much almost every single strip idea was the result of conversations I had with my colleagues. Because there was a number of guys and girls there that I worked that were like really good mates. We had all the same kind of way of thinking. We all had a great time. We all just had the same sense of humour, and a lot of it was from those kind of conversations that inspired it. The moment I left that job, the reason the strip stopped was because I left that job to work with a friend for a few years, and then left that job to come and do this. And all those conversations, of course, because I'm not working with those guys anymore, they just stopped. Consequently, all the ideas just faded away. And I just ran out of juice on that. It just died because I just no longer had those conversations. So live streaming for me is a nice way to connect with you guys and have some company at the bench. But I'm not trying to elicit sympathy here. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't change this for the world. There's no real bad side to this. It's just the way it is. Quick look at chat while I'm cleaning my brush. Where are we up to? Fox, the new Borderlands game came out today, says Jimmy Brin. Hey Jamie, didn't spot you there. Welcome. Yes, I know. I'm still debating whether to bite the bullet and just get the damn thing or not. I don't know yet. We'll see. If I do get it, like, in the next day or two, it'll be I go to Tesco's and get it for 15 quid cheaper than everywhere else. I'm not buying it online. I don't recommend the Microsoft store for digital games. It's far too expensive. I'm either going to get the game or I'm going to wait till it's games with gold. One of the two. But I don't know yet. I don't know. Normally I would jump all over a Borderlands game because I love Borderlands. But for some reason, I'm just kind of maybe. I don't know. I think it's the same with Halo games. I'd be all over a Halo game years gone by, but now I'm like, whatever. I think just tastes change. I will get it, just I don't know when yet. But more importantly, I've got MOT on Monday and got my car for its MOT, so I can't really afford to be spending 30 or 40 quid out like that. Just at the moment, my friend's birthday that weekend after, so I need to not be dropping out 30 or 40 quid just yet. So I might get it. We'll see. We will see. Right, now we've got these fuel tanks there. This is going to be tricky because these are just tubes. And they might not all stay yellow. I might do some checkering on them. I don't know yet. Or some hazard striping on them. I don't know yet. But we'll go ahead and we'll do the shading on all of them anyway, just in case. Let's have a look. I thought about leaving it, but it was a bit out of scale, says Merritt. But another great method, dip it on the ground twice for chipping. Oh, we're talking about like getting chipping off. Yeah, to get when paint chips off. One other thing you can do for scale chipping as well is put the piece of paint, if you've got like acrylic paints, put the thing that you've got, either the full model or the piece of model, whatever it is, in a container with just other bits of plastic, soft plastic and things, and then just shake it around. Nothing that's going to damage the part. But if you've got, say, a piece like this thing, and I wanted to get a scratch effect, I put it in a thing with some other bits of plastic and just stuff that's going to chip the paint, just rattle it. I've seen people do that, and you just get proper hard school proper chipping that way, literal paint chipping. Kenneth says something that jumped. I missed it. Hang on, wait. Where'd it go? Kenneth said, I dislike when people stream for 5 minutes before saying anything or acknowledging anyone who is watching. Oh, that drives me nuts. When the stream starts and it's just like silence, and either the person is there doing something or there's just no one there. It's like if I started the stream and you just got this for like 5 minutes because they're setting something up, and it's like dude or dudette, whoever you are, you know when you press play that you're going live. Just get all that done before you press start, and then when you actually go live, start talking. Yeah, it drives me nuts. Again, it's frustrating when, as a streamer, my responsibility to you is to make you the entire focus of my attention, apart from when I'm painting something, obviously. So yes, that frustrates me as well. It's almost like, do you not know how streaming works? Or what is even worse, I've got to tell you, the worst thing is people. I have seen someone do a live stream for like an hour and a half. They've done a whole live stream painting something in goddamn portrait mode. Oh, it was. I was so tempted to type many comments, but I decided I can't do that. I try and be professional about it. I don't stoop to that. But oh my god, the fact that they had quite a lot of viewers, and it was like, is nobody in chat going to sit there and say, please, for the love of God, turn your camera around? They were obviously filming on a phone and had it portrait mode because they were live streaming from a phone, which is fine, you know, that can be quite good. But it was like, oh, for the love of dog, please, somebody's trying to. Oh, and that was like absolute. I couldn't sit and I was just made of triggers basically. Watch and tell me I'm doing it wrong, says Chris at Grace Models. No, you're fine now, Chris. You've got the hang of it now. You know what you're doing. Silence is as strange as hell. It's like a radio program. The worst thing on radio is dead air because there's no image. It's just talking. So you wouldn't start a radio program with 2 or 3 minutes of silence while you sorted your shit out, would you? So, you know, I don't know. Space Hamster is in. Hey everyone, welcome Space Hamster. I enjoy streaming mostly to catch up with people, says Dave's World. Yep. The right phrase helps lots when Googling something, says Kenneth. It certainly does. And it always drives me nuts when you're trying to search for something, but the thing you're searching for has a name that's generic. Like, if I'm looking for a product that's just called the red button, and if I do a search for the red button, there'll be a trillion other things, and I'll be like, how do I even find that particular thing? Been back a few minutes, still not seeing any work, says Chris. Shut up. There isn't enough coffee in that cup to fix your tied tongue, Fox. No. Merritt says, there's not enough hours in the day between work, family, Gunpla, and making Gunpla content. Yes. Do you have to go clockwise when dry brushing? Yes, if I was an Australian, I'd go anti-clockwise. You see what? No, it's up to you. I just prefer it. It's just natural for me. Some people go that way. Remember, just in case anybody doesn't know, there's 2 ways to dry brush. There's the flicky way, which is to pick out edges. If I wanted to catch the edge, I'd do a flicky like that. Flicky. Or there's the circular way, which is where you're trying to dry brush a shade, or you're trying to do a fade from one colour to another, and you want a nice, smooth, brushstroke free dry brush. You want to build up a transition. You do little circles, so that if you just do this, you'll get brush marks going backwards and forwards, and you won't get a nice fade. If you do circles, it just helps blend everything together, and you get nice, smooth transitions that way. Merritt Fielding says, I've also been writing some rough scripts and talking points before to make sure I have all the shots and content I need. I can't do that. I can't do it. So sometimes I'll have a little bit of a script at a certain point, but if I'm doing the actual, I can't script it. He says it's usually just so he doesn't forget a step in the video. Corey Grove is in. Hey Fox and everyone, says Corey, and then it moved. Hang on. Welcome, Corey. You also have to change your cutting mat when you're filming and change back to your spotty cutting mat when painting, says Kenneth. Yes, that's true. I do have 2 cutting mats. This is my scruffy painting mat, and the one underneath is my lovely clean everything else mat, because I got sick of having to change my cutting mat all the time because no matter how much you try, it ends up looking filthy. And if it doesn't get filthy, you spill glue and take all the lines off it. So I decided to have the scruffy mat and the proper Sunday best mat. If you are the kind of person that films, if you do film builds, by the way, I cannot strongly recommend enough a light grey coloured cutting mat, because green cutting mats are an absolute nightmare for white balance. If you've got a dark green cutting mat and you're trying to film, it's going to make either all your whites overblown or all your darks really dark, and you're going to have to real struggle to get them balanced between the two, because the green mat will blow everything out. A light grey one, it helps illuminate everything on the desk, because the light bounces off it and illuminates things. It means you can get a better colour balance, and it makes white balancing a lot easier. Sometimes there'll be a thing where I can have something on the desk, and normally what I do, here's a tip for you: when you're doing your videos, white balance is very important. When I'm filming something, not live stream, when I'm filming something, what I'll do is I'll have the thing here. Now what I won't do is just have if I just lock the camera on this with white balance and focus, it will focus on this. and it will try and figure out what the right white balance is. It will assume that this is a lighter colour, so maybe this is supposed to be white, and it will adjust to make this as, and that might blow all the colours out. So what I do is, when I'm filming properly, I'll lock my focus and white balance, but I'll have this is an old pot of white scar, I think. This is my default use, and what I do is I put my hand like that flat, because you're going to see my hands in shot a lot. I put the pot of paint like that, and I lock the focus on that because it's white. I lock the focus on that at the height. Well, I lock the white balance on this object with my hand behind it, my bare hand, because that's what most is the view is going to be filled by, and I have the pot of paint at the height that I'm going to be working. So if I'm going to hold something like this and paint it, I have the pot there. I'm not going to lock my camera focus on that mat and then hold something here, because that'll be out of focus. So I always put the thing where I'm going to paint. This is why I have to film in minimal chunks, because if I'm going to paint 3 or 4 things, I have to stop and adjust this all the time. So I lock the white balance on something that's white, and that means it's going to be roughly about right. And if it's a bit off, I can adjust that later in post-production. It'll be more accurate. Now, if you do, sometimes you'll have something, and I'll look at an object, and it might be, I haven't got anything here, but let's say I was going to, well, yeah, let's just say I was going to film that. I might look at this and think, well, if I lock the white balance on this, it might be about right anyway. I don't need to use that white pot to get it right. And if I put it on this, not this mat, but my normal grey coloured mat, and I lock the white balance and focus, it will look fine. Might need a bit of a tweak later on. If I did that on a green cutting mat, the green cutting mat is dark, it would then go, it will boost the white balance, everything would get overexposed, and it would look like I was on the surface of the sun. So yeah, if you're doing YouTubing, consider getting yourself a light coloured, this is light grey cutting mat. They're brilliant. They're really, you have to Google search for it. This is a company in the UK that makes these called Jackson's. There probably are other ones, but this is a company called Jackson's. It is, I'll give you the URL, except it's covered up. It is jacksonsart.com. I will put that in the chat for you. If you're in the UK or EU, I assume they ship to you. But it is HTTP, keyboard's not on. HTTP, not a capital H, thank you. Oh well, you've got a capital H, never mind. I assume it is. Somebody tell me if this is wrong. HTTP, they're all the wrong symbols. Why are Apple keyboards in all the wrong... Oh, Apple, why are all your symbols in the wrong place? jacksonsart.com. I think this is the right address. It's kind of covered up by paint splats on my cutting board. So I think that's the right address. If you're in the UK, absolutely, you can get it from there. I think they ship to the EU. I don't know about outside that though. But yeah, if you do filming, do consider getting yourself a light coloured. It just makes the desk brighter. It reflects light onto your model more, so makes white balancing easier. And if you've got minimal lighting, it just makes things a bit better. It's like if you're trying to work in a room and you've got all the walls painted dark green, it's going to be a dark room. Let's have a look. Jens Carr says, traded in some games and DVDs today down at Game Scene from 50 quid. Got a Tactical Squad and Age of Sigmar Storm Strike plus 3 packs of Yu-Gi-Oh! Legendary Duelists Sisters of the Rose. Awesome. Awesome. Let's have a look. Dave Will says, alright, time to do some real work. Talk to you later, Ulf. Okay, thanks for coming in, Dave. Take care, buddy. Beck Storm says the Halo games got worse as they went along, and I kind of felt the same about Borderlands. Yeah, Borderlands was great. Borderlands 2 was great, but not as great. The pre-sequel was just absolute gash. I got bored of that within 5 minutes. The whole you need oxygen thing, it was like, oh, what a great idea. Then again, actually, no, not a great idea. I just got bored of it. Back now properly, says Cyber. I've done any work. I've done some work. Lynn's in. Hi, y'all. Just sneaking in. Got to go to work. Hi, Fox. Hi, Lynn. I probably already missed you now, but hi. Jamie Bones got to go. He's got jobs to do around the house. Thanks for popping in, Jamie. Fox 2019 says, Kev, teaching the world how to flick his propellant tank. Always be repaired with a good propellant tank. Merritt says, yes, I've been filming on wood right now, but yeah, I've got my eyes on some new cutting mats. Retro Rabbit says, tosses out green mat. Yeah, smash. Kevin Reynolds, Kevin Reynolds. Si's also put up the link for Jackson's art as well. But just do a Google search for grey cutting mats. They are really nice. Right, let's do some more work then, shall we? Swig of coffee. Swig of coffee. I'm just putting off doing these tanks which are giving me the yips. I don't want the yips. You don't come back from having the yips. I could go for a big fat brush. Yeah, we'll go for a big fat brush. It might not work. We'll find out. Let's get the paint going. Down. Time is it? 3:42. That's not bad at all. I'm already hungry for my dinner. I don't even know what I'm having yet. So bench and belly. You know what's on my bench? I have no idea what's going to be in my belly later on tonight. Let's see if this brush is going to be too big or too small. Or is it actually going to transfer any paint at all? There's another question. Maybe it's not. Wow, that's just absolutely useless. Tom Rickliff says, I gave up on clothes and now it's masking time. I hope you mean masking on your model, Tom, and not as an alternative to clothes. Because trust me, masking is not an alternative to clothes, especially if you have to go out in public. Just ask any policeman. Now, if you remember, this is going to be a Borderlands style paint job. So, although this is going to look a bit splodgy, I'm not too bothered if it looks a little rough and ready. If the blending looks a bit shonky. I could do it with a tiny small brush, but it would take me approximately... Oh, hang on. I don't know if you remember the other day, I had the little hair on my moustache that was pointing up and tickling my nose. Just doing it again. Ah. Go away. Little pointy up hair. See, first world moustache problems you never know about. Merritt Philbin says, just saw your vid on Alex's video for Simon, very touched. Oh, I didn't know he was going to put that up for the public. Oh, cool. Cool. I think it's still in the description below. If it not, I'll add it later. But for anybody that doesn't know, Gundam UK, Simon Curry, very good friend, was recently very, very ill and in hospital for brain surgery. He is recovering. He's getting back up to it. But Zach from Zach Aurelius and Alex, who you'll know as Alexa Doof, they've been arranging a GoFundMe to raise some money to help Simon out, because he does the GUNPLA talk show with them. I've been on that, it's great fun. They're doing a GoFundMe to help raise some cash to help Simon out, because obviously he's got his wife and 2 kids, 2 lads, and he's not working. He's going to be out of commission for a significant amount of time. He's had a stroke, he's had major brain surgery, he's having a titanium plate put in his head, and I know it's not a good circumstance, but that does sound cool. At least it's something cool. But he's not going to be working. And over here in the UK, you've got statutory sick pay. He's only going to go for so long. So he needs all the help he can get. So they have started a GoFundMe. There should be a link in the description below this video for the GoFundMe. There was when I set it up, but then YouTube deletes things every now and then. So if there isn't one in the description below, if somebody can check, if one of the mods could then just post a link up in the chat, that'd be fine. I'll post a link up in the description later on if it's not there. But there is a link to Simon's GoFundMe. The original target was $3,000. They blasted through that and bypassed $5,000. So now I think he's on like $7,000 target. It might have changed since then. But it's all basically going towards helping Simon and his family actually, eat, pay the bills, make sure they've still got a house. They don't get the house possessed or anything like that. Unless they're renting it, pay the rent. But yeah, Simon's a lovely, lovely fella. So go and help him out. Go and help him out if you haven't already. Every little helps. I've been actually surprised by some of the amounts that have gone on there. I mean, I kind of paid what I could. I'm not rich by any means, but some of the donations on there are just like, wow. There's some really nice people out there, really kind, thoughtful people out there. There you go. Si's put the link up. The GoFundMe link. So yeah, but by all accounts, he's getting better. He did put a post up the day saying with photograph him saying they've got to put a metal plate in his head. Cool. I know you shouldn't really say cool, but hey. If it picks up radio, I hope it's not Radio 1, because I'd just be like, no, take it out. I don't care. Take it out. I don't want to listen to Radio 1. No. Cy Reynolds said, "Did you see my Borderlands diorama idea, Fox? Where did you put this diorama idea? Is this when you put 2 links in the chat the other night, in the moderator chat, that I didn't look at properly when you were talking to George? I didn't actually look at it. I was kind of, I think, on my way to bed at that point, or doing something anyway. Yes. Oh, yes. I'll have a look later on. Then I had a very quick look. I didn't actually look at the links. I thought you were talking to. I thought you were in the middle of a conversation with George, so I kind of skimmed past it. I'll have a look later. Jackson's does have USA delivery and good pricing on the mats. Just ordered a larger one to replace an undersized mat, says average model. There you go then. So jacksonsart.com. They ship to the US if you are the US Americans. They are really nice mats. I think they're self-healing a bit. They're light grey. And I have found these specific, if you get these specific mats, they do have massive ones. I've got 2 massive ones and this little one. I have found if you want to clean them, if you're familiar with cutting mats, you'll know that some cutting mats, you can put some things on them and they're fine, but then you put something else on them and take all the printed lines off. I found with these specific ones, you can quite happily clean them with isopropyl alcohol or IPA or isopropanol or rubbing alcohol if you're in the US, and it won't take the patterns, it won't take the grid lines off. But if you use airbrush cleaner or thinner, paint thinner, it will take the lines off. Also, if you put like extra thin on it, it will take the lines off, but that's to be expected. So you can easily clean them with isopropyl alcohol and a bit of cloth. So they're really great because I say I've got one underneath here that's my Sunday best one, and as best I can, I've avoided getting any paint on it. A few little marks here and there and a spot of glue, but it's fine. Because then when I'm showing something, if I want my desk to look kind of clean, I don't want to show this scruffy painting mat. But they are really nice mats. Merritt says, yes, it's been awesome to see the wide range that people are giving. Very generous. That's to Simon's GoFundMe. Lynn Dipple says, no, I've got to look for a grey mat. Bye. Have fun. They don't worry about it. If you're not filming stuff, a green mat's absolutely fine. It's just if you are going to do any kind of filming, green mats are just anathema because they will just really screw up your white balance and colour balance. Because when you set your white balance, like I lock on my little white paint pot, what you're doing is you're basically saying to the camera, okay, camera. Whenever a camera looks at a scene, it works. Especially if it's like an iPhone camera, or something, smartphone camera, or something like that, and it's always have things like auto white balance and stuff. And most cameras will automatically adjust white balance and exposure, but you can lock them. But if you're going to lock your white balance, which is advised, you want to make sure you're telling the camera what white is. You're saying, "Hey, camera, this is something that's white. Therefore, please adjust everything else." Work on that assumption just so you know this is whiteness. So anything else that appears, it needs to look like that. So I hold up that pot of white paint and I lock it on that and I'm saying to the camera, this is a white thing. And what it looks at the whole scene and it adjusts the exposure and the f-stop and everything else, however it does, I don't know. But, of course, if it's a white object on a grey background, it adjusts it differently to a white object on a green background because green's almost like, to the camera, it may as well be black. Something else I was going to say. Can't remember. Well, I'm doing this very quickly. Sponsor announcement time. Of course, don't forget. My channel is supported 3 ways. First of all, by my beautiful, 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 absolutely adorable, all sexy, all of them, every single one, patrons who are all sex beasts. They're all awesome. They're all wonderful people, and they are the best people there are. And they support me financially, and I am super, super grateful. But I'm also supported, little hairs tickling my nose again. I'm also supported by 2 companies. I am supported by emodels.co.uk. I'm sponsored by emodels.co.uk. Your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. They are the UK's leading online model retailer. For traditional modelling, like your cars, trucks, planes, tanks, aircraft, things like that, your traditional model making stuff, paints, tools, they've got the biggest, massive, widest range. They are the UK's largest stockists of Tamiya. So the good chance if you love something Tamiya, they'll have it, and if they haven't got it, you can get it in for you. So do go and check them out. It's emodels.co.uk. They're an awesome bunch of guys and girls. And then they're my channel sponsor. So go and check them out for your traditional stuff. As we always say, if they haven't got it, you don't need it. There is a link in the description below for eModels. And all of their stock, by the way, is reduced typically by around about 10% off RRP. Can vary. But all their prices are, you'll see on each item it has a price and then a price below it with a line through it. It's comparing, all their prices are dropped from, they don't sell at RRP, they sell lower than RRP. So you're going to make savings there no matter what you do. So go and check them out. They also sell Gunpla. There you go, you see. Now, also, this channel is supported by my very good friends at Goblin Gaming through an affiliate link. There's a link in the description below for Goblin Gaming. It's not a normal link. Don't just go off to Goblin Gaming and get your goodies. I mean, do go to Goblin Gaming. They are like eModels, but for tabletop gaming. And not just Warhammer, but any kind of tabletop miniature gaming. Malifaux, you've got Conflict 47, you've got they've got The Walking Dead, they've got Fallout Wasteland Warfare, all the sort of, you know, the well-known Dungeons and Dragons, all the kind of well-known tabletop miniature gaming, but also things like card gaming, tabletop card gaming, like Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, that kind of stuff. Card collecting, card trading and collecting games. Now they offer 20% savings off RRP on Games Workshop, all Games Workshop stock, all Malifaux and all Conflict 47, which is awesome. It's like an alternative history World War II. You should check it out. It's like Sherman tank with a laser gun. It's great, with a big plasma gun. Oh yeah. 20% off all of those off RRP. So if something costs you £100 from Games Workshop, it might be 80 quid. If my maths is terrible. 20 quid, 20% of 100 quid. What? Yeah, you get the idea. It's massive savings on those three. But they also offer savings on everything else they stock. So do go and check them out. The link in the description below the video is my affiliate link. I would say please, 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 if you want to support this channel, use that link to get your stuff from Goblin. Make that your favourite link in the favourites on your browser, because that link, not only are you getting the big savings, you're also helping this channel, because I make a little bit of income every time you order through that link. So do go and have a look at that as well. Especially if you're buying Games Workshop stuff, just why would you not want to save 20%? So there you go, that's the sponsorship stuff. Right, there you go, we've got that sort of done. Now it's a bit patchy and rough. There's still a couple of streaks there from where there were some little shade areas. Next door but one's dog with the dumbass bark is barking. Oh, for a shotgun. But we've got more shading to go, more blending to go with dry brushing, and I might again do some other painting on here, but I'm not too fussed. Like you can see a patch there of the shade underneath. Normally you'd be like, oh, it looks like a patch of it looks like I've got a drop of shade. Oh, no, I'm not bothered about that, because this is a Borderlands paint job. It's going to have to look like, when it's finished, it's going to have ink outlines. I want it to look like the Borderlands style, which is closestly compared to a comic book where it's ink and watercolour, so coloured in watercolours and then inked with inks. So that is perfect, because I can either build some cross-hatching around that, or I can do some chipping effects. So that little kind of patchy bit there, I don't care about that. That's brilliant. I like that. That's what I'm after. They're all things that I can work into the outlining later on. Now, if you've not seen it, if you're not sure what I mean by the outlining effect, by the Borderlands style, do go on my channel. When you're not watching this, go to my channel. Go to, if you don't know this, go to the main homepage for my YouTube channel. At the top there's a menu, it says playlists. I am one of those YouTubers that puts every single video into a playlist so you can find it easily. Nothing drives me more nuts than when somebody doesn't have a playlist. So if you want to go to my playlists and go to there should be a playlist, and I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's something like how to paint Borderlands paint job, Ridge Runner, Bandit Technical, something like that. It's like the latest playlist, I think. It's the second to latest playlist. And it's like 2 or 3 episodes, I think, and it's just purely me painting a Warhammer 40k Bandit Technical. I'll paint on my glove. Bandit Technical. Warhammer 40k Ridge Runner, Gene Stealer Ridge Runner, but painting it in the style of Borderlands, so it comes out looking like a Bandit Technical. And I even stuck some Tempestus Scion heads, or I stuck a Tempestus Scion head on one of the Gene Stealers to make her look like a bandit. It worked quite well. But you get the idea there of the colour scheme. It's the sort of watercolour and ink outline colour scheme. It's not cell shading, although most people call it. It's not actually cell shading. It's more like comic book style. But that's what we're going for. It's a long, drawn-out process. And the reason I did that build was to practice it before I did it on this, because this will be only the second time I've done this paint style. But I found using this dry brushing technique and then inks and then some like cross-hatching and outlining actually worked really well for that effect, because I want that kind of patchy watercolour look. Almost. Haha, I like playlists as well, Fox, says Eon's Cut. Yeah, nothing drives me more nuts and makes me never want to watch someone's content than when they don't have a playlist. I was on a channel the other day. It was some builder, I can't remember what it was now. It was some channel with an Eagle Transporter build. I was like, oh, I'd like to see how they dealt with it, because I built one of those and filmed with that, and it was like, I'd like to see how they come up, because they showed like I've seen the final picture of their build, and it looked mint. So I'm like, I'm going to check that out. So I watched the first episode. I was like, okay, this is really quite interesting. It was quite nicely filmed. It was they were engaging to listen to. They were explaining what they did. Like, right, I'll watch episode 2. Where's episode 2? For whatever reason, it didn't come up in the suggested videos. I don't know why. You know, because normally it has the next episode or whatever. So it didn't come up, so I thought, okay, well, I better go and find it then. So I went to the homepage for the channel. Playlists, nothing. They had like hundreds of videos. They had hundreds of videos. They'd obviously been going for a long time. They'd done lots of things. And it's like, okay, so where's part 2? So I filled out the search thing, Eagle Transporter, and there they were. There were like 13 or 14 episodes, but they weren't in a playlist. And obviously when you do a search, they don't come out in order. So basically, I had to fart around looking for each episode as I finished watching one. And I'm like, I hate this. So after I watched a couple of episodes, I thought, I can't be bothered. I'm just walking away now. So your content was great, but I'm not doing your job for you while I try and find the next episode. So if you are a YouTuber, for the love of dog, for all that is holy, and the name of Baby Jeebus, please, please put your stuff into a playlist. Because what I want to happen is, on this guy's channel, what I would do is say, I enjoyed that episode, I shall watch the second episode. I go to the homepage, click on playlists, then I want to see Eagle Transporter build. I go into the playlist, there's episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I can just, the playlist on the right hand side, I can watch an episode. As soon as it finishes, I can click on the next video in the sequence, because all the episodes are listed in the playlist on the right hand side of the player. So if you are a YouTuber, for the love of Baby Jeebus and all that's holy, for God's sake, you make a playlist. Otherwise, I'll just not watch your stuff and then I'll never come back. Because I'll be like, oh, well, he can't be bothered making a playlist, so I can't be bothered watching his stuff. It's all about quality. It's all about having more tissue. The one golden rule if you want to do YouTube. I mean, there's many golden rules. And by no means am I, like, you know, an expert. Yeah, I've not got millions of subscribers. I'm not got a massive channel or anything like that. But just from my experience, I'd say one of the main golden rules is do everything you can to keep your viewers happy. If that means taking the hassle out of finding your content, don't make your content hard to find. Is one of the golden rules. Have playlists. Use playlists for your content. Use tags on the videos. Make sure you put lots of tags so people actually find your stuff in a search. Make sure your title is structured in such a way that it's interesting for searches. Like if you are I've said this in I did put a video in my how-to guys on how to make tutorial videos. But if you're making a video about making a, let's say, I don't know what we were talking about earlier on. Let's say you're doing a video series about painting a World War II Tamiya 135th Sherman tank Firefly. Then if you make the title of your video my tank build part 1, and then when somebody goes into YouTube and searches for Tamiya 135th Firefly tank build, yours isn't going to come up because none of those words are in your description or in your titles. So if you want to do YouTube, you've got to get seen. Make sure your title has all the relevant things that people are going to search for. make sure your tags have all the things that people are likely to search for. If you're doing a tutorial video like we do, like I do, there's only 2 reasons that someone is going to watch one of my how to paint some shit videos. One, because they want to know more about that particular model kit, because they want to maybe get it themselves and they want to see if it's a complete abortion or not. And if I sit there saying this kit is an abortion, don't buy it, it's the worst thing ever, they're not going to buy the kit. Or they want to know how to paint it or build it because they're maybe not too sure and it's something not done before and they want to see somebody else do it before they go ahead and get some ideas. So if you just call your video My Tank Build Part 1, My Tank Build Part 2, then the only reason yours is going to come up in search is if somebody searches for My Tank Build or tank. But then, because it'll come up on search, because think about it, if I've got a search window and I'm looking for film videos on a 1/35th Sherman Firefly, the first 12 videos in the list are titled Sherman Firefly 1/35th scale, Tamiya, or some variation of those words. And then yours is My Tank Build Part 1. I'm not going to watch your video. It's not going to happen. So take the time. And that's the important thing with the tags. The tags work the same way. If I search for lemons, then YouTube searches for videos with that word or phrase in the title. And to make it even more accurate, then it adds to that a secondary search of videos with those tags that relate to lemons, like yellow, lemons, fruit. It doesn't just go, it looks for both of those things and then delivers up the search results, which is why when you do a search on YouTube, more often than not, they're pretty accurate search results. You know, you don't do a search for lemons and get videos about baseball. Well, you might do, depending on what you search for. So use your title well, use your tags well. And if you've got a series with multiple episodes, and each episode's about a different thing, if you can avoid it, don't just put, you know, Sherman Firefly Part 1, Sherman Firefly Part 2, Sherman Firefly Part 3. I might come to you looking to watch, all I might want to know is, how do I paint the tracks? I might be fine with everything else, but I'm not going to sit and go through each episode to see which one is about tracks. So if you put Sherman Firefly Part 1, building, Sherman Firefly Part 2, modification, Sherman Firefly Part 3, priming and base colours, Part 4, painting the tracks, I'll be, oh, that'll be it, painting the tracks, there we go, nice and shiny, I'll watch that one. Now I might only watch that one episode because it's only, but then I've watched your content. I'm more likely to watch the other episodes to see if there's anything else I might pick up, or other content you've made to see if I might pick something up from you. It's the reason, that's how I got into the Warhammer TV channel and in Warhammer kits, is I happened across one of Duncan's painting videos, found it utterly watchable, started watching other stuff on the channel, and that made me think I really want to paint some Warhammer. And there you go, now I've spent like thousands of pounds on Warhammer and I'm bankrupt. Thanks, Duncan. That's how it works. That's why it's important. Titles, text and tags. Same goes for your descriptions as well. Don't just put, if you put a detailed title and lots of detailed tags in the description, don't just put, here's the next part of my bill, thanks. All comments welcome. It's telling me nothing. It's telling the search algorithms nothing. Again, if you're doing a video about a particular thing, make sure you put that description includes lots of words that people are going to search for. Again, if in this case of this example, you want things like Tamiya, 1/35th, Sherman, Firefly, model, painting, building, kit, all those kind of keywords that people are going to search for because it combines the tags, the title, what's in the title, and the text, the description text, all go towards the search engine to deliver your content up to the people that want to see it. That's why it's very important. Doodly-doo. So for love of dog, use playlists. If you're a YouTuber, make things, put them in playlists. Put things in multiple playlists if you have to. Like this stream now is going in 3 playlists. It's going in the Live from the Workbench playlist. It's going into the Master Grade Sazabi Vercar playlist. And it's going into the new playlist I created for the GUNPLA TIEMZ video, which would be these streams. So 3 playlists. Playlist. There's no excuses. And it's more, and I may be like nagging you a little bit to people, but the thing is, I love when like people who follow me or Boom Hut members, or, you know, people I know because they follow me or whatever, I love when they decide to branch out. There's 2 things I love. Is one, when somebody says to me, I've watched your stuff and now it's given me the confidence to go and paint these models. I'm like, brilliant, fantastic, my work here is done, that's what I'm here for. But what makes me even more heartened is when somebody says, I watched your stuff and it's given me the encouragement to actually start doing my own little videos and films. And I think, brilliant, because it's really good fun. You can have a good time. And if you're lucky, you can make money. So to see people doing these like dumbass mistakes that you can easily fix that are costing you views, it saddens me. Because I've seen people who are making really good content, but they're not using tags or they're not using titles, and nobody's seeing their stuff. They've got like 5 views because nobody finds their content. Treat the YouTube search window or little search bar as the most important place on the internet if you're a YouTuber, because that is the only way, unless for whatever reason you're lucky and your video gets a featured video slot, which you have to opt into. Go through all your settings, you can opt into that. That's the only way people are going to find your stuff, by searching for whatever you're filming about. And the only reason people are going to watch our content is to learn about the model or learn about what you're doing to the model and how to do it for themselves. That's the only way they're going to find your content. So there you go. Nagging time over. Right. I like playlists as well. Cy Reynolds puts a playlist list, but I don't know if that's my playlist or somebody else's. I have no idea. Retro Rabbit is off to school for the learning. See you all later. Have good the learnings. Fill your brain with many learned things, and we expect you to tell us about these things later on. If I do a stream tonight and you can make it, I expect you to talk to me about learned things that you've learned and put into your brain. Apparently, I'm now paused. So I hope I wasn't pulling a silly face when you paused me. I probably was. Another thing I hate about playlists is reverse, like part 23, 22, 21. Yeah, or if you're making a playlist, if you've got as far as making a playlist for your channel, for the love of all that is sanctimoniously holy, put them in order. 1 at the top, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't have 1, 17, 25, 3, or start with episode 99 and work your way down, because I don't want to have to scroll all the way down each time to get to the next episode. It's so it's not hard. It's not hard. But then again, to be fair, I will turn the coin the other way around and say, to be fair, YouTube do not do a good job of explaining all this crap to people. There's a lot of YouTubers that don't know about titles, text and tags. They don't know how important it is. They don't know that the search is the main way that people find your content. They don't know about playlists. Not that obvious. So I like to nag people because I want their stuff to be seen. I want them to get better. And I mean, I know Chris probably hates my guts, because for a long time when he was doing his live streams, I'd nag him about stuff, about either something he was painting or the way he had his camera set up or something he was painting. And it sounds like I'm like nagging. Like, you're painting this wrong, you're using that wash wrong, you've got the wrong camera angle, your white balance is off, you're focusing. And I've done it to other people. I'll do it to anybody. I will sit and nag. But it's not because I'm an absolute arse. I mean, I am. But it's not because I'm a nasty person. It's because I want my friends to make good content. I want my friends to do good content that people enjoy, and I want them to get seen. I want their content to be seen by everybody. And I've nagged my friends who do YouTube, some of them, I've nagged them about using the camera. I've hassled them about like titles, text and tags, all that kind of stuff. I've nagged and I've bitched and I've harped, and I've like sometimes it's the best way to do it. It's just to prod at someone until they get it, because I want my friends to make the best content. I want their content to be seen. So I will promote them as best I can. That's why I give other people stickers away, but I'll also nag them and prod them and needle them and needle like that. Yeah, so Cy Reynolds was at one point, Cy was saying about starting a YouTube channel. So Cy, you can expect, if you do start one, I will nag you and needle you until you get it spot on, until you're like doing a real good job. I mean, you might do it fine anyway, but I might have to admit, anybody that starts one, I will needle you until you're like using your titles, your text and your tag and your playlists and stuff. Yeah. Beck Storm says, yeah, sometimes I watch a playlist and I can't find episode set. Shut up. Shaking the finger now. Whoa. I see what you did there. I agree 110%, says Average Modeler. Take 10 seconds to put it in playlist and 2 seconds more to put it in order. Ian's Car says, My Tank Bill Part 1. Cracking me up. Go and watch. I did do a video, and I think it's in my... I'm confusing myself. It's in my how-to playlist. I think it's one of my playlists. It's the video, it's like how to make tutorial videos. Oh no, it's in the Fox Explains playlist. Fox Explains how to do videos. And I have a thing where it's like, I'm trying to show typing in. I did that film where you have to film yourself typing in whilst typing in and trying to talk at the same time. But it was like, My Plane Bill Part 1. It's like, oh, yeah, I had to put that in text form as well. But there are people that will just put tank bill, episode 3. What kind of tank? What model? What scale? What are you doing? What step of the build are you at? Oh, for the love of God. It drives me nuts. It's not hard. It's not hard. Oh. Imagine, I like to say to people, imagine you go into a, like in the old days, you go in the old days in the Britain, you used to go into your post office when it was, you know, a little family run thing, and there'd be a board. They'd either have things in the window or there'd be a board in the window with little, like, for sale things. Before there was, like, you know, the internet, you put a little thing up saying, in the board saying, for sale sofa, £5, come and get it. I don't like it. Well, it's covered in fleas or something. Or, you know, lost cat, or, you know, odd jobs, £5 an hour. Little classified adverts, but on a board in the post office. So imagine you walk in, you've got this thing, sofa for sale, trolley for sale, pram for sale, and you've got a piece of paper that says, I've got something for sale. Here's a phone number. It cost you £5. What is it you're selling? Item for sale, call this number. Yeah, it's not going to work, is it? Hello, something changed. Oh no, something changed on my... I hope I'm still visible and audible. Something just changed on my computer. We've had 0.1% frames dropped. Nim says, I think it's time for the Nims to go to bed. I've been up since 6 PM EST last night. Good night, Nim. Sleep well. Go and get your sleep. My red Japanese Transformer mech thingy part 1, says Beckstorm. It is the Ridge Runner playlist. I linked it when you were talking about it. Okay, cool. Cool beans, dude. You nagged me already, says Cy Reynolds. Yeah, that's true. I can't nag you. Well, I can't nag you about your painting, can I? I could only ever nag you about video. I can't nag you about painting. It's never going to happen. And I can't nag George now either, because you've taught him better than me. And and everybody's taught Kenneth better than me, so I can't nag any of you guys now. Anyway, let's, what time are we on? It is 4:15. I'm going to have a swig of coffee. No. Because we have reached a milestone. In that, I have now done all the dry brushing, apart from one part, with the Avalanche Sunset. My new Avalanche Sunset Part 1. There we go. So I've not done this bit, but that's because this bit will be done. I went ahead and shaded it like a spoon, but I'll just have to say on camera, I shaded it, thanks. This bit will be used in the actual video, the how-to video that I'm filming. So I need to remember that. So the next bit is... Oh, hello, hang on. Bulbasaur just pinged. He pinged off his clip. And I've got a runny nose again. God damn it, runny nose. Right, let me just apply tissue to my nose again. Do you know, my body hates me. Ugh. Right, so the next step will be to do what we've done already. So I mean me. All that dry brushing. It's time for a new colour. It's time to go in with the Uriel. I hate this. Don't start both words with a Y. It really makes me fall over. Uriel yellow. Uriel. That stuff. It's time for ass yellow. I can say that. That's more pronounceable. Uriel yellow. I don't like that. So we're going to do basically exactly the same as we've done. I'm going to not do the bits I've just done because I want them to have a little while to properly cure and dry. So we're going to move in back into the parts that we painted the other day. And start on those. Now this is going to be a quicker process now because, like I said before, the bits that we need to paint now is going to be a smaller area. Because here you can see on this leg part here, we did the dry brushing on this, the back of the leg. Yeah, the back of the leg. Ooh, Kenneth, thank you very, very much. How much microsol do you need to use a big blob? Thank you very much for that, Kenneth. He did a super chat. You can see it there, maybe, and he's also done that bit there. Oh, thank you very much. That's taken a little bit. That'll have taken a little bit of his health off. Look, his health has gone down just a little bit. That's why you get the knowing look. Microsol, you need to use, for decals, not a big blob at all. It depends how you want to use it. If it's a really tiny decal, what you can do is you can get a drop of it on the brush and put it on your cutting mat. And instead of putting a tiny decal into the water, just put it into the microsol. Wait, hang on, I've got to make it the right one now. Hang on, wait, before I say all that, let me make sure I've got the right ones, because I always get them the wrong way around. Right. Microset, microsol. Okay, right, yes. So what you can do, microset, this is the one that goes on for, you can put a tiny dot of it, if it's a tiny decal, put a dot of it on the board and put your tiny decal in that one. Yeah, I know, I'm just saying you can use that to get the decal off the paper. This stuff, you just need to brush it over the decal lightly. Once the decal's on, you can put it where the decal's going to go, but there is a possibility if you've got a gloss coat that this stuff can sometimes, if it's an acrylic gloss coat like Pledge or something like that, it can sometimes etch into the gloss coat a little bit. So what I would say is, get your decal on. Let's say your decal is, I'm going to use the back of a sticker for this. Back of a sticker. Let's say your decal is that big. It's a really weird shaped decal. It's a picture of a smiley face, whatever. Let's say that's your decal. Get it on the part, get it flattened down, and then all you need to do is what I do. I don't put microsol down first because I don't want to damage. It probably won't damage the gloss coat, but it is possible. It has happened. I then put microsol down, just get a fine brush, and just basically cover it in microsol. Not a big blob, just so it looks wet, like you say, just so it looks wet. But I tend to go just a little tiny bit over the edge of the decal, just a tiny amount, just so it has chance to get underneath and seep underneath. Because what some people do is they'll put a decal down and then they'll just go like that with the brush and cover the whole area, like with microsol. But like I say, it can potentially sometimes, if you put too much on, it can actually erode that gloss coat and give it a slightly rough texture, which you may not notice until later on when it looks a bit matte, if it's supposed to be shiny, or if you're doing, say, a gunk wash or anything like that with the filters and stuff, you might get a slight darkening where it's reduced the shade, it's kind of eaten into the surface and give it little pits. So I would say get your decal down and just do a little bit outside of the edge of the decal and just a light coat, just enough to make it look wet. Because you don't want to soak it, you just want it to let it just look wet, and then give it 10-15 minutes to dry. If you've still got any wrinkles or if it's still trying to conform to a surface, you can add layer after layer after layer. If it's a flat surface and it's a flat decal, you might only need to do one application of it. If you do multiple applications, if you've got any clear film around the edge of a decal, so let's say you've got a decal here and there's the clear film there, so that's the decal and that's the clear film, you're making the microsol go just over the edge of the clear film, just to make sure it's clear, just over the edge of that, just outside the edge of it. You can do multiple coats and it will very slowly, gradually kind of blend away that clear coat a bit, because it will sort of eat away at the clear film on the decal ever so slightly. So if you've got quite a thick, pronounced clear edge, doing a few coats of the microsol can help reduce that down a little bit and thin it and make it look less obvious. But don't go too far, because like I say, eventually you might start affecting the actual gloss coat if you've used a gloss coat. If you've just used paints and there's no gloss coat on there, it might potentially have a similar effect on the bare paint. If you put a lot on, it can reactivate water-based paints, because it's basically, which one is this one now? It's the one, this one smells like vinegar. This one smells like very thin, it smells like watered down Tamiya X28, and it kind of mostly is. So if you're using bare paints, or whether you've got gloss varnish on there, just try and keep the stuff to the decal. But it can help reduce that clear film effect as well if it's still visible. But keep in mind, once you've matte varnished your model, if it's going to be matte, it will also help blend away any obvious clear films. So yeah, just make it look wet and keep applying it. If it's a flat surface, you may only need one or maybe two applications, or more if you want to get rid of the clear film a little bit. If it's an uneven surface, or it's going around a corner, or it's over a textured surface or something like that, then that's where you want to keep adding layer after layer each time it dries, just until you're happy that the decal has bedded down. You can add coat after coat after coat. It will eventually help the decal settle down. But as long as you're not putting lots and lots of it on the paint or the varnish, you should be fine. But yes, just so it looks wet, you don't have to drown it or drench it. I hope that helped. That's not nagging, that's constructive criticism, says Average Modeler. I'm back and still not working, says Gross Models. Yes, a little bit of downtime at work, nothing wrong with that. I do quick broad brush strokes with lots of drying time, says Barry Ruffner. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. I mean, there's different ways of doing it. It's just I have found, because I did it, a long time ago, I did when I did my Strike Freedom, my Strike Gundam. Strike Gundam? Which one is it? Yeah, I've got the Strike Gundam. Strike Freedom? I don't know now. I've got it over there. I did put the decal on the fin on the back, and it was a square decal, and I put just microsol and microset on there, and I was like careless with it with a big brush, I put the microset down first and put the decal down, then microsol on top. But like the decal might be that big, but the patch where I put it was that big, and it looked fine, everything was fine, but when I put a gunk wash of oil paint later on and brushed the paint off, the sole had ever so slightly corroded the gloss coat a little bit. Even though I'd, like, you know, done lots of other stuff on top, it had taken a smooth surface and made it slightly pitted, just ever so slightly, like microscopically. So what you saw was all the paint was rubbed off the gloss coating, all the oil paint was rubbed off, apart from where this patch was, that was ever so slightly more rough, and it left a stain, like a coffee stain, of the oil paint that I couldn't get off, because it was like embedded into all the little pits. So it can eat through a gloss coat if you put on too much, so just keep it minimal. Kenneth says, thank you. It's textured surface, half seems to have conformed and half hasn't. Yeah, you can apply more and more coats. What I often find as well is, before you put a coat on, let it dry so it looks dry. Give it 5 or 10 minutes. You can then, when it's dry, get yourself a cotton bud and just very gently press the decal down. If it's over like a ridged surface or a textured surface, you can very gently use a cotton bud or a piece of soft cloth just to kind of push the decal down as carefully as you can. A little cotton pad perhaps, just to push it down as much as you can, and then do your next coat. And then keep doing that, and it might bed down. Also, another thing you can do, if it's say you've got a ribbed surface, so let's say you had a decal going over that there, between, let's say there's 2 little ribs there, and the decal was going over between these 2. If you put the decal over it, it's going to be like that bit there, and that's going to sit over, you'll have a gap. So what you can do in certain situations, especially with rib details, is either when it's dry, but before you put the next coat of microsol on, microset, whichever, I always get them mixed up, you can run a cocktail stick, not like this, but like flat along, just try and gently push the decal in a little bit, or just place it down like that, just to push it down into place. So you're encouraging it to go down, and then you're putting the fluid on again, and then repeat that step a few times. Or if you need to, if it's quite a pronounced dip and you want to get the decal to go down, you can get a very sharp knife and just cut along the gap. It'll split the decal where the gap is, then you can push it down, and both sides will then conform down to the middle. And if it's a fine enough cut and it's a deep enough groove, you won't notice the gap. Sometimes you need to split the decal where there's a raised bit, just so it can conform, and then you can tidy it up later. More often than not, it'll actually go back together and heal, or if you need to, if it's a big cut, you have to, you know, maybe touch it with a bit of paint. But you can always like push them into place with something, or split them with a knife or something like that. I use Mr. Hobby decal solutions and usually grab some. Start that again. I use Mr. Hobby decal solutions usually and grab microset and microsol. Microset and microsol they work exactly the same way as the Mr. Hobby, Mr. Mark Softer and Mr. Mark Setter. The only thing to be aware is that Mr. Mark Softer and Setter are actually a little bit stronger than microset and microsol, so you're less likely to cause any problems with any kind of gloss coats or paint finishes with set and sol, but you still can. But they're exactly the same. They're just a bit thinner. I mean, a bit less aggressive. I don't think I like doing decals, says Kenneth. Oh, you get used to them. They do. After a while, they become like instinctive. You'll be as good as decals as you are at painting in no time. I get to the point now where I actually enjoy doing decals, because more often than not, they don't screw up. It depends on the decals. If you gave me a kit, a Mobius kit, I'd just burn the decal sheet. I'd be like, I'll burn that. I'll buy some third-party ones. Because Mobius can't do good decals for anything. The decals are horrible. Terrible. Anyway, swig of coffee. And we shall do more. So yes, we did the dry brushing for the Avalanche Sunset on these parts. On everything so far that's yellow. Haven't touched the red yet. The next step is to go in with the next colour, the Uriel Yellow, and do exactly the same again, but focus it in a smaller area. So further away from the edges, so we're getting smaller and smaller. Now for this leg, this is how it goes together. It does come apart again. I've just got them together for the convenience of having both parts together rather than 2 parts on sticks. Yeah, we're going to focus more towards the middles. This isn't the best part to demonstrate on. It's more like, let's do one of these. Let's do one of these. There we go. It's like an Iron Man helmet, kind of. A little bit. So it's exactly the same process for these. Now this Avalanche Sunset is a base paint, and of course is quite opaque. Yuri Yellow is this colour, I'm going to say that, is a layer paint, and the reason I hate this paint as well, apart from the fact I can't pronounce it, is it is horribly transparent. I don't like this colour at all, generally, apart from when I'm doing this, because when I'm doing this, it actually works quite well, because it is slightly transparent. Kenneth says, I think my bull ant likes your voice, Fox. She came out when I turned your stream on in my studio. Yeah, Kenneth has an ant farm, an ant colony. Are they seed eaters? The seed ants, aren't they? Whatever they're called, the ants that eat seeds. We've got a bull ant. Is that one of the majors, or is it a queen? You said she, so I'm going to say it's a queen. Yeah. Loved by ants the world over. So we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to go in with this colour. Little circles. But it is a very transparent colour. Now, if you remember, I haven't got it on this stream setup, so I can't show you the picture, but this is going to be, I do have a photograph somewhere of the actual D.Va mech. This is going to be based on the mech that D.Va uses in Overwatch, because Shanghai Dragons are an Overwatch team. And my reference material was a screenshot, or many screenshots, of D.Va, the character. I don't play Overwatch, so I don't know anything about it, but the character with the mech. And her mech was in the Shanghai Dragons livery, which is red and yellow. Now, the yellow is actually quite bright on D.Va's mech. Much brighter than Avalanche Sunset. So this is why we're now going in with the highlight colours. Now again, like before, I'm not being thinky. I'm not thinking about where I'm putting this paint. The only real thought I've given it is that I'm going to stick to the middle of panels and away from edges. And that's as much as I think. If it comes out that it's a little bit patchy, then that's fine. If it comes out that I pick a few edges out here and there, then that's fine. I'm not looking for evenness. I want to have soft blends between the two colours, so the dark yellow and the light yellow. I don't want a strict straight edge. Don't want an obvious line. So I want it to be a smooth transition, but I also want some bits to be brighter than others, because again, it's the Borderlands look. We're going for patchiness. We're going for it's used technology. It's you know, you're on Pandora. You get stuff fixed by Scooter and Ellie. You ain't getting a showroom finish. Yeah. Catch a ride. So I'm not fussed if it looks a little bit patchy and higgledy-piggledy. That's fine, because again, it needs to look that way anyway. When I said this the other day, but when we first came up with this idea, when George said this is what he wanted, the Shanghai Dragons were a bit rubbish. They were terrible. They were lowest in the league and the worst team in the world. So the idea was we'd do it heavily weathered to look battered and beaten, because they are a bit of a terrible team. And they always get their ass handed to them. However, as soon as I started work on it, they suddenly upped the game and became good. They get good all of a sudden. So that's fun. But it still works anyway. It's going to be like in a sort of maintenance area. Maintenance hangar setting, so it's fine. So it doesn't matter if it looks patchy, and there is outlining and chipping and stuff to go on top, so again, I don't mind if it looks patchy. The beauty of it is that if it looks patchy now, when all the outlining's on, everything else is on, it just looks natural and random and worn, and that's what I'm aiming for. That is completely what I am aiming for. So I don't want it to look nice and neat. Now I do show, if you want to see it, I do show an actual video. I do have a how-to video how to do this post-shading dry brushing effect from start to finish. I do it on a Toolrox Prime. So again, playlist on my channel when you finish watching this. There is in the playlist, the how-to playlist, there is a video on how to pre-shade without an airbrush. And it's basically this, it's post-shading dry brushing. And this is exactly what we're doing. So I don't know if I can zoom in at all. Let me see if I can zoom in for you a little bit, because I know it's quite far away. So hopefully you can see now. It's not actually quite as greeny yellow as that. The colour's a bit off because of the camera, but also I've zoomed in. But it does have a certain patchiness to it. The dark bits are a bit darker than you can see it here. It's like here there's a bit of a dark shadow. And it's not quite as a massive contrast, but you get the idea now. It's a little bit patchy. This bit here is brighter than that bit there, and it's not quite uniform. That's what I want. Like I say, go and look at, if you've got the game, go and look at vehicles and objects in Borderlands. If you've not got the game, go and look at some Borderlands screenshots of vehicles and things like that. There's no neat and tidiness. Even like the inner frames of the mechs are all a bit battered and worn and stuff. So yeah, and I've got the thing, you can see like there's an obvious like pool mark there where the shade's pooled up. Don't care. That's going to be great because I can build that into the chipping or the outlining later on. So this is just what I'm looking for. I want it to look like it needs to look like a proper comic book where it's been penciled in and then it's all been coloured with watercolour. So you've got colours blending into colours and you've got watermarks and things, and then you go over it with ink. That's how comic book art in a lot of ways works. Traditional way of doing it. That's what I want this to look like. Now I'm not painting with watercolours, I can't do that, but that's the effect I'm going for. So I'll zoom back out again. There we go. Right, so that's one done. Kenneth says that's an Army Painter dry brush, isn't it? Yes, it is the Army Painter small dry brush. The one gripe I have about Army Painter brushes, if I had one gripe at all, is that the writing on them rubs off too easily and I can forget which brush is which then. They need to kind of maybe not have that. Need to fix that. So I've got a whole pile of stuff to do here. I've got them arranged on my phone for the most part in left and right. So this is all the left stuff, this is all the right stuff. If you're doing things on sticks, have them arranged, especially for Gunpla, in chirally. So if your leg armor is the same for both legs, doesn't matter. But if you've got armor or parts that are specifically left and specifically right, separate them out. This is left. I've got some tape down there with L and R. That's left, that's right. Just means then that's how you can coordinate having lots of things on sticks when you already have many things on sticks anyway. Fox's method is looking ant-equated. Beck Storm wins a Fallout point for Ant Agonizer. Kenneth confirms she is a queen. I have 5 colonies now. The meat ants and spiny ants are my favourite and safest. Yeah, I like Kenneth's ants. If you want a good channel to watch, and if I remember rightly, it's the same reason that Kenneth ended up started actually having ants, is because I sent him off, or he already knew about it I think actually, but is go and look up the channel Ants Canada. Now I have to say, it's a brilliant channel, Ants Canada. It's a brilliant YouTube channel. I have to say, in the last sort of 6 to 12, well, 6 maybe months, he's got a bit clickbaity. He has got a bit clickbaity. Like, OMG, you won't believe what happens. You'll find out at the end. And it's kind of every episode now. It's like, yeah, But up until about 6 months ago, it's a fantastic... I mean, it's still a good channel, but yeah, only the last few months he's got a bit clickbaity. But it's a fantastic channel because he's massively enthusiastic about his hobby, which is ants and his business. But he makes it kind of infectious and exciting. And even if you've never had an interest in ants, start watching, go from the older videos and work your way up. You start following the lives of some of his colonies of, like, you know, the fire ants and the other. It's great. It's fascinating. I've got nothing but respect for them now, for the ants. It's amazing. You learn all about them. Looks like soot and dust on the edges of the panel, says Kenneth. It does a little bit. It's important to note, though, that at this stage I'm not deliberately going for any kind of weathering effects. This isn't actually weathering. At this point, I'm not trying to do any kind of weathering effects. This is purely still technically base colour. You could, I mean, theoretically, you could just do what I'm doing now with a few dry brush shades, shading effects, because we've got another lighter colour to come after this. You could just do this to build up the colour, and it would look kind of weathered anyway, so you could stop at that. But to me, this is still just working on the base colour. This is working out the base yellow. So when all this is, and the base red, when this has been done, this will just be the equivalent of pre-shading. So if this was an airbrush build, what I would have done is done a light primer coat, like light grey or white, then a, say, black or very dark grey airbrushed pre-shade coat, just putting lines of dark colour over the panel lines, and then I would go over with the yellow or the red base coat in thin coats, so that in some areas I could keep it fairly thin and you can see the dark shadow line underneath. In some areas I will paint it on heavier with more coats so it obscures the shadow line, and that way you get the kind of pre-shaded effect. This is just doing the same thing but it's just a more drawn out way of doing it if you haven't got an airbrush. So when this is done, it technically won't be a weathering coat, although it kind of looks like it. And you could leave it there. It's more of a post. It's just post shading basically. That's the aim I'm looking for. But if it looks a bit weathered, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so that's one bit done there. Kenneth says, Ants Canada, he says, he's gone downhill a bit, but still cool and fun, but dangerous to start watching early hours of the morning. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, he's got a bit clickbaity, but he's still fun to watch. It's still an awesome channel. I still subscribe to it. I still watch every episode. Yeah, just Ants Canada. It really worth a subscribe and a watch, because it's just, he's so enthusiastic about it, and he will teach you about them at the same time and make it interesting. And it's like, who knew I would have had interest in ants? I mean, for crying out ants, for God's sake. And yet, it's fascinating to watch. He makes it interesting. I mean, at one point, he fed his ants a chicken head. And I'm like, I really don't want to watch that. And you know what? I sat and watched it. It wasn't that bad. Just because he carries it, because he makes it interesting. But yeah, he's got a bit clickbaity lately with his titles and stuff. But yeah, it's fine. Ant love forever. Hashtag Ant love forever. I cleaned an airbrush yesterday, says Kenneth, to see how it was, and worked great, but it didn't smell like lemons when I started spraying. Nah, you didn't clean it with lemons, did you? It wasn't a Torox Prime. It says, I said I did my thing on Torox Prime. He says it wasn't a Torox Prime. It had wheels. Yes, there's a Kenneth and I had a disagreement. Because the Torox Prime comes with tracks, and I put wheels on mine. I got the resin wheel upgrade kit. And Kenneth's like, you're dead to me now. I used to like you, Fox. I used to respect you, but now you're just dead to me. Oh dear. Great. How is everyone today? How many people are watching? Let's have a look. We have roughly 20 odd, maybe 21 people watching. How is everyone today? Where are you all? Let's get the lurkers out. Where is everybody? Kenneth says, sorry, clean my airbrush with Master's brush soap. Oh, right. Oh, right. With Master's brush soap? That's an interesting idea. It didn't smell like lemons. No, I think it's would have been too thin, dilute. Never thought about that. Though. You could probably, if you get some in water and thin it down, smush it down, it probably would work to clean your airbrush out. I'm quite amazed by that Master's brush soap. I've got some here. If you've never used it, Master's brush cleaner. If you do any brush painting, use brushes. Make the brushes last longer by cleaning them properly. Master's brush cleaner soap stuff. It's fantastic. It smells like lemon cheesecake. It's scary. It smells just like lemon cheesecake. It smells edible, but don't eat it because it's probably toxic. But it cleans anything off. It just cleans everything off your brush. It's amazing. It doesn't. It's like. It has the cleaning strength of like neat lacquer thinners, but it doesn't actually smell or feel, doesn't burn your skin off. It's weird. I've ordered some more now because mine is just about to run out. I've got that much left. Unfortunately, I get mine, it's like, oh yeah, that'll be 2 weeks. Oh, damn it. If you want to pick some up though, it's plug time. If you want to pick some up, before you go onto Amazon and order some, you may not know, I have an Amazon store. Yes, there is a link in the description below the video. It's the what's it called? It's just my Amazon store. Doesn't have a name. Basically, if you need to pick something up and you're in the UK, it's only UK unfortunately, I'm afraid, but if you need to pick something up like that from Amazon, before you go and buy it, use my Amazon link. It's an affiliate link. It doesn't cost you anything at all. More than normal, it doesn't cost you any extra, but you are really helping out this channel if you order through that link through Amazon. So if you need to pick some stuff up, especially like Master's brush cleaner, use the link on my description. I do recommend, this is the 1 ounce pot. I don't recommend the 1 ounce pot because it's like tall, but for some reason it's different to the other one, which is I don't know what size, the other one is like flat, and yeah, go for the flat wide one, not the big one. It just seems to work better in the other one, as in it breaks up easy when you put water on it and stuff. I didn't get on well with that 1 ounce pot. We had a difference of opinions. I wish Masters made a liquid version for stripping paint. Oh, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? Do you have a Patreon, folks? Cough, cough, plug, plug, says Kenneth. I do, my friend. Yes, Kenneth's one of my patrons. Yes, if you do want to support this channel, there's many ways, like I said, with all the Goblin Gaming and the Amazon, but you can actually support this channel directly on Patreon. The address is here. It's patreon.com/modelmakingGuru. However, I can save you some work, and I can put this in the chat. No, that was the wrong link. That was the wrong link completely because it didn't copy. Hang on, I've got the wrong glasses on. Try it again, shall we? There we go, that's the right link. Yes, you can support me directly on Patreon. It's just Patreon's a great way for people to support the artists they actually like and enjoy. And you can support me for as little as much as you want, and from $1 upwards, whatever you choose to afford, that's absolutely fine. Everything is greatly accepted. I depend on my patrons for my income. This is my full-time job, so I depend entirely on my patrons and my links through eModels, my support from eModels and Goblin Gaming, my Amazon store, and I've got some merch as well. There's a merch bar below my videos. Links in the video, but I sort of depend on all of that for my income. So however you choose to help me out, if you wish to support me, if you like my stuff and you want to help me keep making stuff, because I don't want to have to go and get a job, because then I used to have a job and I was doing like one video a month because, you know, unfortunately with my career experience, jobs I do is call centre jobs and they're all terrible, and I get home and I'm like, I don't care about anything, I'm going to eat and sleep. So, you know, I'd rather do this. So I don't want to make less videos. So if you'd like to keep this channel going, really help me out, you can do in many ways. Patreon is one of them, and I thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart for all that support me. And the weird thing is, I've got to be honest with you as well. Other Masters brush up is 75 grams or 2.5 ounces. Yeah, if it's unfortunately the only thing I've got from the old pot is actually, now I can tell you. I can tell you exactly, because the other one is, it's under him, is 2.5 ounces. Yes, 4.7 grams. That's the one you want, not this one. I don't know why, but this stuff works really well. When you get the brush in, you can really get a lather. This stuff doesn't want to lather up at all. So go for the 2.5 ounce one. Yeah, anyway, what was it? Yes, so the weird thing is, like I said, I do depend on... Kenneth M says, Goblin Gaming, who are they and what do they do? Oh, we did do that a bit earlier there, Kenneth. I appreciate your assistance there, but I did do the Goblin Gaming a bit earlier. But I'll come back to it later on. Yeah, the difficult thing is, like I said, I do this for my living, and I depend on not only my patrons but my sponsorship from eModels and my support from Goblin. You know, I get YouTube income and Google revenue and stuff, but it's not much, but it's there. But the difficult thing is for me is that I'm British, and I'm not speaking for all Brits here. I'm not speaking for everyone. But to us Brits, asking for money or anything is really, really uncomfortable thing for us to do. We just don't like doing it. It's not asking for help. You know, if we need to ask for help, we'll ask for help. It's if we need to ask for money. It's not something as a nation that we're generally comfortable doing, unless, you know, some mindless scrote who expects the world to offer to give him a living will probably happily ask for money. But for most Brits, asking for money is not something we do. And not just that, but asking for money or bigging ourselves up. Like, you get the YouTubers who they're quite natural. For some people, it's natural to promote yourself and to big yourself up and say, hey, I do this and brilliant. You can support me here, here, and here, and do this. It's really cool. Give me money, give me money. For some people, it's second nature. You can do it, no problem. Most people have no problem with it. But if for us Brits, it's not a comfortable thing for us to do. It's almost like we'd rather, to my brain, I'd rather die of starvation and be homeless because I've not paid the bills than actually ask people to give me money. But that's illogical. But it's the way we are. It's just built into us, I think. It's not that we don't ask for help. It's not pride. It's nothing like that. It's more just a discomfort at asking anyone for money. It's just, I don't know, it's just weird to us. It's very uncomfortable. Let's have a look. Cy Reynolds says, to highlight the discount. This is a discount at Goblin Games. Link in the description below the video. Because I said earlier on, you get 20% off Games Workshop, Malifaux, and Conflict 47. If you use my link, don't just go to Goblin Games, but use my link and store it in your favourites. Let's have a look. He says, to highlight the discount, I was pricing up a shopping list for a whole bunch of custodies. It came to £270, which I planned to get from Warhammer World, because we're going to Warhammer World at some point. However, he said, I figured I'd check it on Goblin Gaming, and what would have cost him £270 directly from Games Workshop was £208 on Goblin Gaming. Yes. Now you know why Goblin Gaming is kind of awesome. And remember, if you're doing the stream boss battle up here to get Kevin's health down, if you win that and you're in the UK or the EU or one of the countries that Goblin ships to, then don't forget, of course, that also then becomes an option. Because what basically happens is I tell you how much you've won, and I say, what do you want me to order? And then I just place the order from you. Now, if you're outside the UK or the EU, I just go onto Warhammer, onto Games Workshop or Forge World and order the stuff for you to your address. But if you're in the UK or EU, or one of the countries that they ship to, you can order that from Goblin. So if you win at, 500 quid, you can spend 500 quid with Games Workshop and get 500 quid worth of stuff. Or, depending on where you are, you could spend 500 quid with Goblin Gaming and get like 650 quid worth of stuff or 700 quid worth of stuff. So keep that in mind. But yeah, if you need to buy some Games Workshop, Malifaux or Conflict 47, all those ranges are 20% off. Everything else is also discounted, but your discounts will vary on other ranges. You can also get points. You build up points. You accumulate loyalty points as you order. That you can use on stuff later on. But if you use the link in the description, use my link, my affiliate link. Every time you place an order, I get a little bit of income from that link. So yeah, so by again not costing you anything more than normally you were going to spend, but it's actually costing you less because you're getting a massive discount. But you'll also be helping me earn a little bit of extra money. But again, like I said, I'm British. It's really, really uncomfortable for me to do any of this. So look, better deal. Cy says, yeah, he'll get the Forge World bits he wants from Forge World, but from Warhammer World. But the Games Workshop stuff he's going to get from the Goblins. Awesome stuff. Yeah, but we're British. We don't naturally do the it's self-promotion. We don't like doing self-promotion. We're too reserved for that. I'm not speaking for everybody. Obviously, there are people that will just happily do that. But I think for a lot of us, for a lot of British people, we'll look at someone who does shameless self-promotion like that and we'll say, what a twat. Because it's just not natural to us. We look at it as we look on it as a bit brusque, a bit gauche, a bit, oh dear. And it's just our history, I think, that makes it a bit like that. Again, I'm not speaking for everybody. Don't jump on me because you say, I don't think like that. But yeah, a lot of us do. Which is why, to a British person, the worst question you can be asked in a job interview is, "What do you think your earnings should be?" Sometimes you get that question, "What would you like to earn?" And you're always like, "What do you think It's basically, what do you think you're worth?" And it's like, no, I hate that. It's basically like a negotiable salary. Well, what do you want to earn? I don't know, 350 grand. Well, how about 7 grand? Okay. Yeah, this is a pointless question. But yeah, it's just a British thing. Some of us are good at it, some of us are not. A lot of us are uncomfortable with it. Certainly everybody I know that does this kind of stuff is never happy putting a price on their work or asking for money. Again, it's not shame, it's not pride, it's just something we don't do. Something you don't do in polite society, I guess. It's maybe with the way we think of it. Now you see I'm going a bit heavier with the paint. I'm doing more of a wet brush than a dry brush. That's the way I want it, because I want some light patches. I want some lightness here and there. So I can do some thicker paint here and there just to get some even more contrast. Not even real words, Fox. Not even using real words. Doodle 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 doodle. I don't know what's for dinner. I'm thinking about dinner now, but I don't know. We have an ongoing joke here where I say to Mama Fox, "What do you want for dinner?" And she always says, "Pizza." We had pizza last night, so it's like, "What do you want for dinner tonight?" Yeah, I thought so. So I don't know yet. Could be stuff, something I have to make. Could be takeout. You never know. Who can say? Eon's Car says, "Yep, I'm still building my Space Marine and Death Guard CSM armies." Leftover pizza, says Kenneth. No, it wasn't takeaway pizza. It was make it yourself. Not make it yourself, but, you know, bang it in the oven and kind of pizza. But it's going to be freezer food for dinner. That's what my mother would say. That's what Mama Fox would say. Go into freezer food. It's actually who does it? I can't remember who makes it. We do the Amazon thing every now and then. We do that big order from Amazon. They deliver it in 2 hours, kind of stuff, and they have a small selection of pizzas, you know, to do in the oven. And 2 or 3 of them are the Chicago Town ones, which I refuse to get because they're just absolute nonsense. They're rubbish. They're awful. They're small. They're rock hard, and they taste like plastic. They're foul nonsense. Chicago Town pizzas. Yuck. Pap. But they have these ones that are like sourdough pizzas. I think the sourdough pizzas. I could be confusing these with some of the cart ones, but they're just soft, and you only cook them for like 10 or 15 minutes. But one of them is just like basically cheese and tomato, but it's like 2 or 3 types of cheese and lots of mozzarella, and then some slices of feta cheese, and then some sun-dried tomatoes. And it's not much to it. It's just that. It's quite simple. But I like to put stuff on it. Now, if I have in the fridge available a whole clutch of spring onions, what I love to do is chop up the spring onions and sprinkle them on the top. Oh, nice. And some mushrooms. Just making your own pizza, really. But last night I was a bit stuck because I was like, we haven't got any spring onions left because I threw the last few out because they've gone off lumpy. What can I put on it? And we're a bit low in the fridge at the minute to restock the fridge, but it's like all I've got is a bag with a few red onions in it and half a pack of like they get a pack of German sausage of slices, like processed meat type stuff. You get like a pack of 10 slices of ham. It was like 20 slices of German sausage of some sort. And it was just about to go out of date, but we'd eaten like half of it. Little circular things. So I thought to myself, you know what? We could just have the cheese and tomato, which by itself is all right, because it's got some herbs and things on it. But no, let's not do that. So I chopped up my red onion, sprinkled that all over it, and it's quite a lot when you've got one onion on one pizza with an entire onion sprinkled on it. Red onion chopped up, and then I got this German sausage slices and just chopped them up into little bits and sprinkled them all over, and banged it in the oven for the requisite 13 or 14 minutes, 200 degrees, and it was fantastic because even though it was only like 12 or 13 minutes in the oven to cook the pizza, because it's like a soft sourdough pizza, the German sausage, which is normally you just take it out of the packet and eat it in a sandwich, it went all crispy and it was really nice. Oh, really, really nice. It was delish. So that was nice. But all I got, because I put this entire red onion on there, which I love red onion, I had the onion taste in my mouth. I've still got it now today from last night. And for me, the onion taste always makes me hungry. It's like when you have something with garlic, and then about 2 hours later you get this kind of garlicky taste in your mouth. But to me, it's just like, it makes me think of meat, and then I get hungry. I don't know why. One other thing I like to do with those kind of pizzas, especially that cheese and tomato one, use it as a base. Again, because it's usually, I'm a forage cook, I'm a forage chef, as in I don't plan a meal. I hate cooking, so I'll make it simple stuff. But sometimes I'll just be like, what have I got in the fridge, and what can I do with it? One thing I've found is really nice is if you've got a pack of proper Herta hot dogs, like the little 10-pack of Herta hot dog sausages, is instead of blopping them in the pan for 3 minutes to cook them, chop them up into slices and plonk that on your pizza. Stick that in the oven. Oh, that's nice. Oh, yes. Yes, lovely, lovely, lovely. And again, the prerequisite, spring onions chopped up or red onions chopped up. Don't use white onions because white onions are rubbish. White onions are nonsense. Red onions are like the meat version of onions. Red onions are always better. Okay, so that's part of the foot armour there. Lewis Releasons comes in. Afternoon all. Sorry, late. Just finished work. Welcome, dude. Welcome. What time is it? It's 5 o'clock. I'm going to give it a little longer. I'm not 100% sure yet if I'll be doing a stream this evening. I don't know yet. Let's see how we go. There are things I need to be getting on with anyway, away from the bench, but we'll see if we can. If I can, I'll do a stream this year. I might not. I'll definitely stick with you now till nom times. Richard says the Chicago takeaway pizzas are nice. I don't get on with Chicago. If you mean the Chicago town ones, I hate them. They're like this big and they're rock hard. And no. Can't be doing with them. Go to your local. If you're in the UK, here's a really good recommendation for you. You may not have thought of. Go to your local co-op. If you have a, I don't know if co-op's nationwide, but go to your local co-op store. They will have. They should have. Some sourdough pizzas. One of them is just like cheese tomato. And it's quite nice. Again, it's stuff you use it as a base. You can put things on it. And one of them is jerk chicken. I need to sort of blow my nose again. One of them is jerk chicken. It's like a spicy jerk chicken type thing. And not only are they sourdough pizzas, which means after you've cooked them, they're all soft and squishy. It's like an edible pillow. It's brilliant. I think they're also possibly stuffed crust as well. They've got cheese in the crust. And they're only like £3 or £4. And they're absolutely delicious. And again, the chicken one's really nice, but you can use the cheese and tomato one as a base for other things. But they're really nice. Just in your local co-op store. And get a 10-pack of the hot dogs while you're there. Because that's where I get mine from. I think the Herters. Hot dog frankfurters, and just get them on chopped up and put. Oh yeah, oh yes. Ooh, I'm making myself hungry now. God damn it! Always with the hungriness. Mushrooms taste so much better on pizza than they taste in anything else. I'll tell you what is really nice though, and it's only something I've started doing every now and then recently. But what's really, really nice as a little nibble is just raw mushroom. Like when I'm making something, I'm chopping up some mushrooms, I'll wolf one of them down. Or I'll just wolf down a few of the bits I've chopped off, and I'll be like, oh, especially if they're like the chestnut mushrooms, the little brown ones, because they've got a nice little taste to them. Really nice, just raw. It's like, oh, it's nice. Richard Gibbs says, no massive things. Okay, you don't mean the Chicago town crap freezer nonsense. Okay. In that case, I don't know what they are, so yes, they probably are or something. I thought you meant the Chicago. I mean, like the Chicago town pizzas you get in a box and they're in the freezer section and then you absolute gash. So I stand corrected. If they're massive stone baked, then yeah, that sounds good. I like Iceland pizza, says Eon's Cart. Yep, Iceland as well. Go to Iceland. Their pizzas are rather nice. They have some good stuffed crust ones. Aldi. Ooh, I'll tell you what's really nice. Where does a really nice sourdough pizza is Aldi. Not had one for a while, but they do a couple of sourdough pizzas again. I think one of them is chicken and one is like a 4-cheese feast or something like that. They do really nice sourdough pizzas, and they're quite big. They're like that shape. They're not round. They're like an elastoplast shape. They are really nice. They're really soft and flumpy and cloud-like. They are delish. Now you can see here I'm being a bit patchy with this application on this particular piece of armour. I'm being a bit patchy with it. I'm not being careful. I'm having some light bits and some dark bits, and I'm just making it vary. Just because it's the upper arm armour, it's a bit flat and featureless, so it's just basically a tube. So I've got to try and make it interesting somehow. So if I have a big bright patch there and then a darker patch here, and this coat, because this is more of just the highlight on top of the base, I can be a bit more slapdash with it. Because I'm just really focusing on the middle of bits and on edges. I can kind of pick out edges here. And this is why this step goes a bit faster than the first Avalanche Sunset coat, because the Avalanche Sunset was being careful where I had the shade and no shade. This is really just, this is where you start to get either the faded paint, the bleached paint effect, or just the lighter highlight effect. Because when we do the paint chipping and stuff later on, we can start to maybe suggest that some of the paint's a bit sun bleached, using this dry brushing as a guideline. So we're having burgers, not sure what else, says Lewis Williamson. Hi Fox, just stopping by, going to bed now. Hi guys, says thy creator. Hi dude, welcome. Thanks for popping by. And I saw you in earlier on. I shall now ask a very important question. Hang on a second. Mama Fox!
Eh?
Mama Fox, what do you want for dinner?
Chinese.
Oh yeah, I'll do that, I'll do. Right, we've decided what we're having for dinner. Mama Fox just walked by with her headphones on. She's watching telly with her headphones on. So I'm like, Mama Fox, what's for dinner? Chinese tonight. Chinese takeaway. Yay! Which means for me, because we have a particular takeaway that we love. For Mama Fox will either be like a dim sum collection or a starter collection, like spring rolls and prawn toast and bits and bobs and some ribs and stuff. For me, always the same thing. From this one particular Chinese is wonton soup with a portion of shumai, 4 shumai, and a thing of one. If I'm really feeling hungry, 2 lots of shumai, so that's 8. So 4 shumai and wonton soup. Put it all together. Big fat. It's a big massive soup. It's like that big as well. Get that. Get my chopsticks going. Have that as my starter. And then for the main course, they do a delightful. It's one of the few Chinese takeaways around here that I've ever come across that actually does udon. They do udon in pretty much any what they can do: beef, chicken, prawn. But I like the beef. The chicken one, the chicken one, they put a different sauce and sort of ingredients in it. It doesn't taste quite the same, but it's basically they call it Japanese beef udon, and it's basically just big fat udon. Oh, I love udon. I mean, I love noodles, but give me a noodle that's as wide as a telephone cable, international telephone cable. I'll be more than happy. So big fat udon, bean sprouts, veggies, and big chunks of beef. But like sometimes you go for a Chinese. If you're in the UK, you'll know this. You go for a Chinese takeaway or Chinese meal, and you get the beef, and it's like the flat slices, and they're either going to be soft and fluffy, or they're going to be chewy as anything, and you get the fatty bits. I've never had the fatty bits from these guys. It's always soft and fluffy beef. It's really nice, and it's always like drowned in, like it comes to me drowned in soy sauce and all the MSG. And I get my chopsticks and I wolf that down. It's just happy face time all the way. Happy face time. You can't go wrong with a bit of MSG. So that's dinner for tonight. Just Chinese's. Richard Gibbs, I'm not a big fan of hot dogs, so I didn't like it much. What are we talking about? Hang on. I actually bought a stuffed crust from Iceland with the hot dogs. We have had that. It's quite nice if you like the hot dogs. But he says he doesn't like hot dogs, so he wasn't that sold on it. Guess who's back? Says Paul Di Tommaso. Don't know. Give me a clue. Give me a clue. Why is cheesecake called cheesecake? Sorry, Chris. Yes, if you're not a big fan of hot dogs, you probably won't like hot dog stuffed crust pizza. But hot dog stuffed pizza is really nice. All I'm thinking about now is Chinese food. Oh, Chinese food. Oh, I'm hungry now. I'm hungry. Mungry. M-U-N-G-R-Y. Mungry. They've just opened as well. At 5 o'clock they open for orders. Oh. Right, stream's finished. I'm going now. Bye. Car door slam. Car drives off. Bye. I'm not that bad. Well, I am that bad. I looked at my screen then on my computer screen to check the stream and wondered what the hell this orange thing at the top was. It looked like a little graphic of some sort. It's not. It's his schnoz. Paul Di Tommaso says, me. Now, I'm going to be a little bit careful on this bit because I want to try and maintain some of there's little sort of recessed pan lines and I want to keep them a little bit darker. So on this, I'm going to be a little bit more careful than I did in the last bits, but not too much. Now, if you're wondering why this hasn't got the top bit painted, you didn't see yesterday, Wednesday's show. This is going to have on the top, the fin funnels are actually going to be, for this build, because it's supposed to represent a 20-foot tall mech and not like a 30-meter tall mobile suit. The funnels are going to be made to look a bit more like, say, little mortars or rockets. They're not meant to look like fin funnels because it's supposed to be like Diva's mech. So they're going to be made to like, so they're going to be painted up. But this bit, the two sides that open up, if this wasn't glued shut, that's going to be painted with either, depending on what I'm going to do, I'm not sure, either, because it's supposed to be Borderlands style, and this is going to be explosive ordnance. So explosive ordnance can mean only one thing, it means Mr. Torg. So it means Torg style, so I think that the top doors are going to be painted in black and white checker pattern perhaps, which is why I've left them unpainted at the moment, just primed, because that's what's going to happen on there. So there's no point painting that at all yet. We'll get to that later. So we're just carefully doing this bit now. Again, it doesn't need to be neat. It just needs to have some nice variation. Now I did get a bit of texture in the primer. You won't really see it on camera because it's so far away, but there is like a bit of gribbly texture here where the primer went a bit funky. It may have been while I was priming, it was on the verge of raining, so I may have got like a raindrop or maybe a dust or something got blown into it because I was outdoors doing the spraying. Lewis Williams says, I'm now going as the wife won't let me watch while having tea. I think she's being unfair, but got to keep her happy. Yeah, you got to keep her happy so she can let you keep watching it. Hi, Mrs. Lewis. Thanks for letting him come out to play for a bit. So, yes, it's a bit rough and ready there, so you can see there's like texture to it. But I'm actually happy to leave that. Again, because it's going to be weathered and worn, I can do a few things. I can either make it look like damage, I can make it just look like worn paint. I can have some fun with it. And that's one of the beauties of doing a weathered paint job. If I want something to look used and, you know, abused, if I've got a few glitches in the paint here and there, not like thumbprints and stuff, because you can't really work your way around a thumbprint. It's kind of dead obvious. That's a fingerprint in your model. There's no way to weather that one out. But, you know, if I want it to look used and abused, then some like glitches and odd little things. One of my, I can't remember which one it is. It might be the Freedom. But one of them, there's actually a bug in the paint job. And I mean literally a bug, a little tiny bug. Because I did some, I think I matte varnished it. Because that's a rattle can, so I did that outside. And while it was being matte varnished, obviously a tiny little midge of some sort went onto the model and sealed forever. Its fate was sealed literally at that point. And at that point, there's nothing I can do about it. It's the final matte coat. And I'm like, oh... So I think what I did was I did do a little bit of oil paint weathering over the top to make it kind of blend into a blast mark or something like that, just as a last little touch. But it was pretty much, yeah, there you go. There's not much. There's no point stripping it. I mean, if it was supposed to be a shiny paint job like a factory fresh, yeah, you'd strip the paint off and you start again. But no, this was weathered, so I was like, okay, I'll do a little bit of weathering on top of the matte varnish just to kind of blend it into a blast mark or something like that. But other than that, yeah, it's a bug in the paint job. Deal with it. And that's the beauty of weathering, doing weathered models. This is why I don't do clean and shiny models. I never will, if I can avoid it, because there's nowhere to go. If you're making a shiny car, for example, you're making a shiny sports car, then your paint job has to be kind of spot on. It has to look like a shiny sports car. There's no margin for error. You know, if you do your shiny sports car and you get a run in the paint and you get like a blob because the paint's run a little bit, you have to, let's say you're painting a car and you've got the whole body shell is a single monocoque body shell, and you do a beautiful paint job, it's like a whatever colour, blue or candy red or whatever, and you go to all that effort and you get your piece of tissue and you do all that, and then when you've finished it, you paint it on, you let it dry, and you look at it and everything's perfect apart from one bit, maybe on the wing. You've got a paint run. That's it. Your options are to very, very carefully spend a lot of time sanding it away, like on a real car, sanding it away, spraying it back, fixing it. But then you've got to make sure, because it's going to be a shiny car, especially with dark colour, you've got to make sure that that sanded back area is flat as a pancake. Because once you put a gloss varnish on something, every imperfection will show up. So you've got to go to a lot of effort then to fix that and repaint it, and basically cover it up. Or a much quicker option is to strip all the paint off and start again, and hope that next time you paint it, you don't get a mote of dust or a hair or anything else like that popping up, because again, you've got limited options. It needs to look like a shiny car. And just from, you know, having experience painting actual cars, it's a living hell. You know, you've got to de-nib, you've got to get everything level. It's and that's why I don't do shiny cars. But if you're doing a weathered build, you know, I've had it where I'm painting a thing. I know it's going to be weathered and beaten. It's going to have paint chipping and streaking and engine grime and road grime. And I've put kits in the spray booth. It's happened before. I put something in the spray booth. I get the base coat down, and there's an eyelash, or there's a hair, or a dust particle, or something has got in there and made an imperfection. And I'm like, oh. But I don't stress about it, because again, I've had it before. You saw me on this the other day. Where was it? It was on. I think it was on this one. You see it, maybe see it a little bit there. There was a hair. There was an eyelash in the paint on here. Eyelash in the paint, and it's like you can see a little brown line there. There's an eyelash in the paint. It had gone in the paint or primer. I'd done a shade over it. So there's this big brown line like that. So what did I do? I did it on the stream the other day. I got a pair of tweezers, my God hand tweezers from Kenneth, which are beautiful. I pulled the hair out. There you go. Hair's gone. There's still a brown line from the wash, from the shade that I did. I dry brush some of that away. It'll get even more hidden when I do another dry brush, and eventually I'll do chipping and other stuff over the top. So in all honesty, most likely it'll end up covered up and hidden away. Whereas if that was a shiny car, I would have had to either do a lot of remedial work or just strip it and repaint it. And I know people who paint cars, and they've painted a car body shell, and they've painted it like 3 times, because they paint it, something goes wrong, they repaint it, then something goes wrong with that, then they repaint it again, and eventually it comes out all right. But then you have the risk of, and then they're handling it to build it, and then they scratch the paint, and then you have to start again. I don't need that. That's not something I want. So yeah, that's why sometimes I seem a little bit slapdash, because there's a bit of paint there, and I've got a hair in the paint, or I've chipped the paint, or I've done something dumb and I've knackered the paint job, and I just kind of go, oh well, never mind, we'll move on and fix that later, because I can, because you can do that when you're weathering. All bets are off. You can have fun, and that's why I love doing weathered, beaten, battered models, and I hate doing anything new and shiny, because new and shiny is just, in one way, it's demanding a higher quality of work, which is good in one way, because you have to do the high quality work because it's going to look shiny and clean and neat. But at the same time, for me personally, that removes all the fun, because I'm a kid. I like making a mess. I like digging holes in the garden. You know, I like falling out of trees. That's when I was a kid. That's what I like. That's what kept me interested as a kid. Messiness and having fun and making a mess, and you know, coming in the house covered in mud and dirt and scuffed knees and everything. I'm a 70s kid. I want to get messy. I don't want to be. I'm not a brain surgeon carefully painting a car or a body shell or a whatever. I'm not. It has no interest for me, because that's just I don't know. That's just science. It's just careful planning, and it's brain surgery. Whereas I'd much rather just be playing in a hole in the ground with mud. That's what I'm doing. So yeah, always weathered. You can hide much more. It means you can be much freer. You can hide stuff that goes wrong, and because you're being much freer, sometimes what comes out the other end can be much more interesting, because you've got all the happy accidents that you don't get if you're being if I'm painting a brand new, say, Formula 1 car, I'm not really going to have any happy accidents, because I know exactly what it needs to look like. So, and there's no wiggle room there. Let's have a look. Lewis says, I try, but it's like fighting a losing battle at some times. Well, there's always an upside, though, isn't there? There's always an upside. You say that, but you wouldn't want to be just like, not have a Mrs. Lewis there, would you really? Because that wouldn't be any good at all. We all joke, but no. That's too small, that brush. I'm going to rinse that off. Let's drag out some conversation then. First of all, where are you all? I think I asked that earlier on and nobody answered. Where is everyone? And what's the weather like? So it's a new section, where and weather. Where are you and what's the weather like? Could be more British really. What's the weather like? Well, it's rather clement for the time of year. It's not rhyming, but it's got alliteration. There you go. My first tank build part 1. Yeah, you do get people like that. I just still can't believe I was watching a live stream in goddamn portrait mode. I'm like, for the love. Do you know, I can't. If you're making YouTube videos and you can't see what's wrong with filming in portrait mode, then I just can't help you. There's no point. I can't help you. Let's have a look. Right, everybody wakes up now when I said, where are you? Oh. What's the weather? Oh, 2 of you. Well, Eon's woke up. He says he's in Bristol. I'm rather pleasant now. What's the Bristol accent? I was going to do a Bristol accent, but I suddenly realised I've got no idea what a Bristol accent would actually sound like. Because all that came into mind was Birmingham. Right. Oh, I don't think that's a Bristol accent, is it? Not quite right, that one, I don't think. I don't think it sounds like this in Bristol. I don't know, do you? Do you have a Brummie? I don't even know where Bristol is. Where's Bristol? Somebody tell me. Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything. I get lost getting out of bed. I'm rubbish. I can't help it. I'm made of nonsense. I don't understand anything. Kenneth says Melbourne and dark. Kenneth, what time is it where you are? Are you up at like 4 in the morning? Is Alex shouting at you? Or is it early morning? Like me, Fox, says Dad. What? You don't have a Brummie accent? Or you don't know where anything is? Oh, you're from Bristol? Really? I mean, I know where you're from now. I know you're a Scouser. But I didn't realise. Oh, okay. I can't... Although it sounds really weird, Dad, I can't do your accent because I can hear it in my head, but I can't pick up what makes it interesting. I mean, what makes it reproducible, let's say. It's probably a better way to put it. Like, you know, a Brummie accent, right, you know what that sounds like. But I can't, to me, it just sounds like normal speech, I think. Maybe. I can't separate it out. 2:20 AM, says Interzone 88. So I'm guessing that Kenneth being in the same continent, not necessarily in the same time zone, he's going to be around about that. Kenneth, what are you doing up so late? What are you doing, young man? And ers. I can't. It's too nebulous, I think, the Bristol. In that case, although is it a little bit like, my brain's either trying to do like a Brummie accent or a proper like, all right, my barber. It's a bit like that, but that's down south, that is. It's nothing like sort of Dorset and Cornwall accent, nothing like that. Dad don't sound nothing like this. Not on a good day, anyway. Not without the gin. Yeah, I think it's just too close to probably my own accent, I think. Da, 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 da. My lover, says Zadster, think Wurzels with a bit of pirate. So it is like this. So this would be a Bristol accent, would it? A bit like this. Because that's what I thought, but I thought, no, that's not. This is more like Penzance. That's nothing like Bristol. Bristol. Where is Bristol? Where the hell is Bristol? God damn it. Where is Bristol? I don't even know where Bristol is. My geography knowledge is rubbish. After 2 AM, says Kenneth. Well, as long as you make sure you get enough sleep, Kenneth. I do love the fact that you're watching and hanging out, but I want to make sure you get enough sleep. If Alex is complaining, you have to do what Alex tells you. When he complains that you have to sleep. Alex is his dog, by the way, before anybody gets any ideas. That's it, you got it, yeah. Well, so right, you do. Wow. You from Cornwall? No, I'm from Bristol. There you go, lover. My lover. My barber. Alright, my barber. We're going to go down to Electric Avenue and then we'll take it higher. Like that, you see. Oh, you like that? I do kind of love those real South Coast accents. I mean, mine's a pastiche. Mine's not convincing at all. To someone outside the UK, it probably sounds about right, but I know it's just like a slightly racist pastiche. All right, my babber, talking like that. You've just been watching Doc Martin, haven't you? That's what you've been doing. Yeah, you're right. But I love it. I just love the sound of real sort of Devon and Cornwall accents. They're so lilting and soft. It's just, there you go, my lover. That's right, that is. It puts the lotion in the basket. Don't know where that just came from. Over by Bath before Wales. Where's Wales? No, I know where Wales is. Joel Walker. Welcome, Joel. Not seen you before in chat. Joel Walker is in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Hang on, I've got to get the thing again, haven't I? I have to do that for every Canadian out there. Every time a Canadian comes in. Because Canada. It's got to be done. I just gave Alex a treat, so that should buy me half an hour more. Oh, I love Alex. Alex is his puppy dog. Alex is Kenneth's puppy dog, and Alex is Daub's. Alex looks after him. Tells him off when he's been up too late. Oh, look at that now with the paint off the paint pot on me. Oh, not a problem, because what I can do is this. I can do this. Blend it in, blend it in, blend it. This is why I hate Citadel paint pots. Because you get it off on your hand from the pot and then you get it on the model. But this is fine for me because chipping, weathering and everything else. I'm not stressing about that. It's not a problem because I can either put more on and blend it or I can do. I'll be doing some chipping there anyway. So it's fine. As long as I didn't get yellow on the red, that would have sucked ass. So we'll put that to us done now anyway. I think we'll a bit more. I'm gonna change this glove though. Which means I've got to take my gloves off for a minute because one thing you never want to do is put a glove on an already moist glove hand because it just doesn't work. Let's have a look. Right hand side of the Severn Estuary on the south, few miles inland. I don't even know where the Severn Estuary is. You can't just give me other places I don't know where they are as pointers. That doesn't work. Like, where is such and such? Is near the other place you don't know about. Okay. I don't know these things. I know nothing. I get lost getting out of bed. Joel is in Corktown. Paul is down by Centre Mall. So Joel and Paul are kind of Canada cheers. Paul and Joel are hanging out. Zasta says Wakefield, just south of Leeds. I know where Leeds is. I've been to Leeds. 16 degrees centigrade, sunny, slight breeze, kind of mid-Septemberish. Amazingly. Wow, really? Not like 100 mile an hour wind. If I've been to somewhere, I kind of roughly know where it is. My hands are sticky now because I've had the gloves on. I kind of know where it is if I've been somewhere. But if I've not been to somewhere, I haven't got a clue. In my mind, I've got like Fox's map of Britain is a rough, very, very rough, definitely not odd. I can't get this glove on now because my hands are kind of moist. Oh, no, it's not working. It's a very my map is barely Ordnance Survey approved. It's just, trust me, I've got no concept of anywhere. I know where Birmingham is. It's in the middle. That's the easy one. Birmingham's in the middle. For my sins, I know where London is, bottom right hand corner. I know obviously where I am. I know some places in Cumbria because I've been there. Where else do I know? I know where Orkney is because Scott lives in Orkney and you can't go wrong with Orkney. I know where that is. But if you name me a town or a place, I probably don't know where the hell it is. Hell, I mean, I'm only like 10 or 15 minutes from Warrington. I couldn't tell you where the hell Warrington is on a map. Is it south? Is it north? No idea. I've got no idea. I can't even tell you where Manchester Airport is, and I'm only about 2 miles from that. You gave me a map and said, where's the airport? I don't know. If it wasn't obvious on the map where the airport was. Let's have a look. Joel and Paul are kind of close to each other. Cool. Paul works in a sweet factory. You should go and visit him at work and then get free sweets. Zesta says, well, you know the sticky out part of England in the southwest? The Severn is between there and Wales. Oh, okay, I know what you mean. So St David's. I know where St David's is because I went on a geology field trip once. So St David's is on the Severn Estuary then, I think, isn't it? You know where Chelmsford is too, dude, says Sirens. I do because my brother lives there and my nephews. Well, I don't. I've not been to Chelmsford. I've visited them once, but I can't remember if that was when they were in Chelmsford or not. Bristol is 70 miles south of Birmingham towards Cornwall. Okay, cool. So it's below London. That's right. That's why it makes sense then, isn't it? That's right. I thought Bristol was like... Only thing I know about Bristol is like a lot of the BBC wildlife documentaries in the 80s about foxes were done in, and badgers were done in Bristol. For some reason, they're always filming Bristol. Here's an urban fox, which only apparently live in Bristol, apparently. But I thought it was like sort of between London and Birmingham. That's why I had the Brummie accent in my head, right? Y'all know, right, where Birmingham is like. But y'all don't know where Bristol is, because you're rubbish, you are. Eat more pies. Again, that's not a very good Birmingham accent, but to anybody from outside the UK, it's probably fine. When people... let's have a look. Kenneth says, it's like when people in a country you don't live in put a coin next to something to show its size. How are you meant to know how big their coins are? It's a good point. People often put things next to items to say, this is how big this is. And it's like, yeah, I don't know how big that coin is. That's great. Thanks for that. Use a universally accepted thing like a unit of size, like, for example, a Coke can. Let's have a look. Universal units of measurements for comparison size. Coke cans. Cigarette lighters tend to roughly be about the same size. Whales is always a good one, but you can't really get that into a photograph. Yeah, I'd never thought of that, but Kenneth, that's a good point. Here's an extra 15-cent piece. I don't know how... Is that big? I need to blow my nose again. Oh, nose blowing. The BBC Wildlife Unit is in Bristol. I knew it was there, but what amuses me is whenever they do any urban wildlife, they just film it in Bristol. It's like, how lazy can you get? We need to go and film some urban foxes. Brilliant. I'll just go down the road and film it because I can't be asked going anywhere else in the UK. Brilliant license fee paid for that. Also, Aardman Animation is in Bristol. Yes. Or a cigarette packet, says Kenneth. Yeah, a cigarette packet. Or Kenneth actually makes the best point of all, which is really obvious, but I didn't think of it. The best thing you can put down as a sense of how big something is a ruler. And it's like, that's so obvious that none of us thought of that. He's putting down coins and Coke cans and stuff. It's like, why not just put it next to something that's actually got units of measurement on it? That will kind of make sense, really. Yeah. Sometimes things are so obvious you can't see them. Cans ain't even that reliable. That's true. Well, I mean, I suppose because there's only like so many different like something like Coke or Pepsi, a known brand. They only got certain sizes. Paul Di Tommaso has just picked up the Master Grade 00XN riser. Cool. I got itch again. 00 riser. Do you know, when I say, it sounds really weird, but when I say like Gunpla names, in my head, I always hear them in the in Robert 184's voice. You know, Robert, 2 R's, 2 B's, 2 T's, 5 R's, whatever it was. Master Grade 00XN riser. I loved his video content. It's a shame he gave up. I know he went to work for Hobbylink Japan, I think, in the end. Writing stuff for them, I think. It's a shame, though, he stopped doing the YouTube because he had a really good... He really explained things well. His content was nice. And he had a great... Just to listen to his voice, he's quite funny and he had a great voice to listen to. And he stopped doing the videos. Joel Walker has just finished an AMT Space 1999 Eagle and is now on a 40k drop pod. Oh, which Eagle was it, Joel? Was it the 172nd or the 148th? I've done the 148th, and that was awesome. Oh, dribbly nose. Joel Walker says, Sazabi, BBB. It's like when I did my, when I filmed my painting the mega size RX-78-2. In the first episode, I think I started it by saying, RX-78-2 Gundam mega size, just as a direct little tribute to Robert's videos because they are so good. It's the way he said things. He's like, you know, I'm going to look at this now, and if you see this, and it's just the way his intonation was quite what's the word? Mellifluous, flowing. I've got the orange juice again. It was mellifluous. The way he went up and down in pitch was quite fascinating. You'd say things like, you're going to be seeing. Like if we look at this brew here, you're going to be seeing lots of details there, lots of nice things you can look at. And of course the Ace brew here, you're going to be seeing lots of different colours. As always, they've got the different colours. The way he said things was quite relaxing. Apparently they fixed the ankles on that. I assume you mean the riser, not the eagle. The 172nd eagle, says Joel. Cool. I've not seen the 172nd one. Is it good? I said the 148th one is outstanding. It's just huge and massive, and I've done that. But I've heard good things about the 172nd. Is it good? Tell me. I could be tempted to know the Eagle if I got a 172nd one, maybe, at some point in the future. Because I really, really enjoyed, have I said it before, like of all the kits I've built in my entire life, very few of them I've actually really, truly enjoyed. I've had fun, and some of them I've enjoyed bits of the process, and some bits I've not enjoyed. And some bits I've been into it all the way and then got to a bit where I've kind of gone, oh God. But with the Eagle, there was not one single bit. Oh, hi Pascal. Pascal's back. There was not one single moment when I was bored. There was not one single moment when I was like not enjoying the build or pulling my hair out. I've got sniffy nose now. Every single bit of it was absolute fun. And when it finished, what I tend to do when I finish my build, I either sell the model because it's like, finished now, my models will just go on a shelf. And I'm one of those people that I can, as soon as I've finished a model, I forget it even exists. It goes on a shelf, it looks pretty, I've already moved on to the next build, and I no longer think about the thing I've just built. I don't give it a second thought. It goes on the shelf, it either gets sold because I'm never going to think about it again, or it just sits on the shelf anyway. But the Eagle that I did, the 148th, it's the first time I actually really, it was an E-models build, so at the end, when it was finished, it had to go back to E-models and be put on display in their cabinets. It's one of the few builds where I've actually been sad to see it go, because I put that on I couldn't put it on a shelf, but I put it in on an area, on an open shelf, and I just sit there and look at it because it was beautiful. I enjoyed every moment of the build. It was massive. I was really happy with my work. I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I was happy with the quality of the work I'd done. It looked brilliant as far as I was concerned. I didn't see anything that I wasn't happy with, and I fell in love with it. And I really was sad when I had to give it back. Really, really sad. Never had that before. Right, it's ringing coffee. I think what we'll do, because I need to go and get some noms shortly, so what we'll do is we'll do some sticker giveaways. Pascal's back in time, just in time for stickers. Just in time for stickers, yes. We'll do some sticker giveaways, and then we'll call it a day, I think. I might come back tonight, but I don't know yet. We'll wait and see. I've got some other bits to do. Now, one of these has already got some images on the back. They were images of how to apply microset and sol to a decal, but it could also be small images of perhaps single-celled organisms. Could be a couple of rotifers. In fact, let's make them some I like rotifers. We're going to make them into rotifers. You know how? Because I'm going to put little flagellae there, and we're going to have the water current going like that, because it's flowing the water past itself. There you go. We'll give that one a what do you call it? A flagella. There you go. So you've got a rotifer, and you've got some other single-celled organism I can't remember the name of. There we go. I like rotifers. I like the word rotifer. There's a YouTube channel by Hank Green, who does all the channels in the world, but he's got, I watch his stuff a little bit, but most of it, but he's got one channel called Microcosmos. Go and watch all the videos. It's just him talking very quietly about single cell creatures, and it's footage, microscope footage of the little single cell creatures, and it's like, I could sit there and watch that for hours, because the music's dead mellow, the creatures are doing little tiny single cell things, and I'm like, wow, this is brilliant. And Hank Green is doing a quiet voice for once, and it's like really mesmerizing. It's like, right, it was fun to paint. I'm saving up for the 148, says Joel Walker. I just acquired a Brigel. I can't wait to muster the courage. If you go for the 148, if you are saving up, I strongly recommend either. I mean, if you go for there's two. There's the regular kit or there's the special edition kit. If you can get the special edition kit, it does come with all the extra decals for all the markings and colour panels and stuff like that. And I do have if you look on my channel, you probably already know, but there is a video build series for the Eagle, 48th Eagle anyway, on my channel showing you how to do it all. It is expensive. It's like 300 quid though, so if it's too much, I think you can get the decals separately. I think, I'm not 100% sure, so you might have to have a look. If you can save up enough to get the limited edition one, you do get a slightly better, well, I think at first you got a slightly better painting guide, but I think that's in the other one anyway, but you do get all the decals as well. But anyway. Right, so I need the special pen of happiness. So I'm not writing a word on this one because you've got some organisms. I'm going to give you an organism, and you didn't even see my lips move. So on this one, I'm going to write the word pliable bits. And on this one, I'm going to write rotifers. Yay! Everybody likes rotifers. So we've got 2 model making guru ones today, and this is, I pulled these out at random, and a double set of Dave's Butcher That Model stickers. So we're going to give these away. So as always, we've done this before, but if you've never seen this before, I'm going to ask you some questions. Whoever gets the answer right first in chat gets the sticker. Now before we go anywhere, I need to get the question and answer book. We are going to be using, again, if I can find some questions, the book that Chris sent me, the Lift the Flap Questions and Answers About Space book. If I can find any relevant questions that have single word answers. But as always at this point, I've got to really tickle it. Oh, this little hair and moustache is really doing my nose in. I'm tickling my nose. There'll be a delay between the video, what you're looking at, and the actual live chat. And remember, it's the first person in chat here, the YouTube chat, not the chat that you see on your computer monitor, because that's tailored for you, and you'll always be first on that chat. So it's this chat here. Whoever's first gets the sticker. So before we do anything, I need you to press the refresh button on your browser. Press the refresh button on your browser, and then drag the slider across to make sure you're up to date and there's a little lag as possible between the video and the chat. So hit refresh and drag the slider, because there's always a gap between lag by this point of the show. Talking rubbish. I need more coffee. Hang on. Yeah. I really have talked rubbish today for 3 hours. I've been talking really fast and dribbly and just talking nonsense. Right, so I'm going to give you a second while you all update and refresh. Eon says stickers. Kenneth says Uranus for some reason. Oh, space. Yeah, yes. The planet Uranus, just for monetization people. The planet Uranus. I've got to find some questions now. There's one. We've got one question at least. Ha 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 ha. Right. We'll do some easy ones for you. These are all easy ones. If you know your space stuff, you know these. Right, is everybody ready? My first question, part 1. No. I'll get Guthorm ready. Right, are we ready? Remember, fastest typing first, please. Here we go. Are you ready? Question 1. Who was the first woman in space? Go. I'm going to refresh my browser as well, so I'm actually up to date. Who was the first woman in space? Go. That was the Speed Racer theme you were humming, wasn't it? I don't even know what a Speed Racer is. So I can't say no on that one. I can say no because I don't know what the Speed Racer theme would be. Who was the first woman in space? And Cy Reynolds is correct with Valentina Tereshkova. Yes, that's the correct answer for you. Where is it? Valentina Teresh. I don't know where the camera is. Valentina Tereshkova from Russia in 1963. She trained as a skydiver before she became a cosmonaut. There you go. So she probably didn't look like that, because that's a bit blokey looking. Then again, she was Russian, so you never know. But yes. So Valentina Tereshkova, Cy, very good. I'll get my pen ready because I know what you're going to want me to do. Which sticker do you want, dude? Do you want organisms? Do you want rotifers, yay, or do you want pliable bits? Which sticker would you like? I'm going to have to trim my moustache. Do too much nose tickling. So everybody needs to sit quietly and stare openly at Simon now till he just says which one he wants. Looks like Captain Janeway, says Ryan Reynolds. Does. Bit of pliable bits. There you go. So yes, fine. I will draw a squig for you. Hang on. You have to be a little squig though, because it's only a little sticker. I should say the organisms as you have no space. Lol. No, you're going to get a small squig. Simon likes squig, so I have to draw a squig on his thing. So I'll draw a very small squig. I'll draw a baby squig. Hang on. Let's do a baby squig. Oh, I got the mouth wrong. Never mind. The worst. I can't draw good squigs. I don't know why. Rar. I think it's because my brain instantly forgets what a squig looks like until I draw one. There we go. Rar. Squig. There you go. Got a little tiny baby squig. Tiny baby squig. So that's Cy Reynolds. Well done. That was a bit of dead air while I was drawing that. Sorry, guys. See what you made me do, Cy. Right, so we've got 2 left. Right, I just realised when Joel says he said he required a Breagle or Brigel, and then he says it's the Industrial Mechanica kit. I know what that is now, and yes, that is awesome. They're hard to get hold of, so awesome, awesome, awesome. Right, next question. Let's find another question. The next question is on one of these very thick cardboard pages, which are perfect for me. Are we ready? I need you to name, ready? The first animal to go into orbit around the Earth. Go. The first animal to go into orbit around the Earth. This is waiting. I should have actually clarified that. I meant the name of the first animal, not just the first actual animal. So I do apologise. I'll rephrase that. Well, Cy gets it right in here because he says Leica the puppy. Go on, we'll do Leica. Cy, go on. I've got to do all the squig now. Oh, do you want rotifers or do you want organisms? Organisms. Ooh, hedgehog. Do you want organisms or rotifers? Which would you like? We shall now all sit and stare at Simon again. Sticker hog that he is. I will also tell you what I'll do. Because I'm a good man. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give an extra sticker away. Because I can't get it out. Hang on a minute. We'll do an extra sticker. Because to be fair, I didn't word the question well. So, average modeler said dog, and technically that's correct. So, average modeler, I shall also give you a sticker because you said dog, and I didn't actually specify I wanted the name of the creature. So, I will write Fumblebutt on this one. There you go, Fumblebutt. Now, which one has Simon said he wants? He wants rotifers. Yeah, I don't have to draw anything. Woohoo! Oh no, I do. Ah, so average modeler. Would you like Fumblebutt or rotifers? Yay! You tell me which one you want, and I'll give you that one. Yeah, I didn't word that question well, so I'll go and draw a squig on. Which one did he want? I forgot now. Oh, he wants rotifers. So you've got organisms or Fumblebutt. Which one would you like? Dad says, have you run out of my stickers? I think I might have done. I think I've got some. I can't just stick my hand in and grab them. I think I've got some, but I'll let you know if I run out. So let me know if you want Fumblebutt or organisms, average modeler. I shall, in the meantime, draw another squig. I shall draw, make life easy for myself. I shall draw I'm being lazy now. So lazy. I shall draw I'm being a lazy person now. I'm drawing. There you go. For that one, Simon, you get a bomb squig. You get a flat bomb squig. Because I'm being lazy. There you go. There you go. You get is it a bomb squig? The one that's just flat. It's kind of hexagonal shape. There you get a bomb squig on that one. Organism says average modeler. There you go. So that's Simon again. Simon. I could just write. I don't know why I just write Kevin. I don't know. That's yours, Simon, and that is average modelers. Average modeler. If you win a sticker tonight, Simon, you know what you're doing. But if you win a sticker tonight, you need to send me an email to fox@modelmakingguru.com. I'm not quite sure the other day, but when I think Steve won a sticker, and he sent me the details through the contact form on my website, which is weird because my email address is just there. Fox@modelmakingguru.com. I just need to know your name, your address, and your YouTube handle. Because if your name is Bob Johnson, but your YouTube handle is excommunicator48, and you say, "Hi, my name is Bob Johnson, send me a sticker," I don't know who you are because I've not written that on the back of a sticker. So just send me an email with your name, address, and your YouTube handle. If you're already waiting for a sticker because you've won one before, I suck absolute balls at doing that, sending them out. It takes me months and months. You will get them eventually. It will take a long time. But if you've already won a sticker before, you still need to send me another email, because if I've got 6 emails from you, I know I need to send you 6 stickers. Oh my God, who sat on that squig? Says Kevin Reynolds. Yeah, so are they like bomb squigs, the flat ones? Flat squig. Si says, I won't answer the next question. Double D Custom Bills, Daryl D says, morning Fox, morning D, you've just turned up in time for the last sticker to be given away. You've just turned up in time for Fumble Butt. So that's good timing. And then he says morning Fox, but before that he says Morin Fox. Yes. My most expensive kit, $300, says Joel. Cool. I have looked at some of those Industria Mechanica stuff. I'm not sure which one is the one you've got though, Joel. The one I really fancy getting at some point is the one that looks like a fishing junk, but it's like a spaceship. It's like a floating in the air ship, but it looks like a fishing junk. I like that, but resin terrifies me so. Right, so I don't need a pen now because Si says he's not going to answer the next question. So I don't need to draw a squig. Good. So last sticker for Fumble Butt. That Daryl D has just turned up just in time for the last sticker giveaway. Let's have a look. Question we haven't answered yet. That's too open-ended. That's too open-ended. Let's have a look. That's too open-ended. There's only very few questions I can ask in here, unfortunately. It's like, will humans ever live on other planets? I can't ask that because it's either yes or no, and it's not either yes or no at all. So I shall ask I think there's a few other questions we've got which I can ask you, which has a specific answer. Okay, ready? Stand by. This is an easy one. It's an easy one. Who was the first man in space? Go. Now, we had an orange jumpsuit in this picture, which means he's from space 1999. So it was clearly Alan Carter because he crashed his Eagle again. God damn it, Alan. Stop crashing your Eagles. We've only got so many of them, even though we can repair them with moon dust. I finally made it to your show, just woke up. You need to type faster with the answer to win the sticker. First man in space. Oh, that's easy, says Si. I do like the smileys on this YouTube chat. It looks like a flat squig. I'm going to split. Do you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do for this one? I'm going to do it again. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to do something. If I can find... Okay. Because I like to be fair in all things. I like to be fair in all things. So, I'm going to give out 2 stickers. I'm going to have 2 winners for this one. More fumble butt. Right. 2 winners for this one. Because I like to be fair. So, we have... Angus Allett and Lewis Williamson. Because Angus said Yuri and Lewis said Gagarin, I'll give it 1 each. We misspelled it, but I don't mind. So I got 1 each. So Lewis and Angus, well done. You both won yourself a Guru sticker. Yeah, because Angus said Yuri, and the next comment was Lewis saying Guru Gagarin. It's like, quite Yuri, not Guru. He said, I'm trying. I think his autocorrect was correcting him. So there we go. So Lewis and Angus, you both won yourself a sticker. So what you need to do is send me an email. Put in the title, put you won a sticker. Send me an email with your name, your address, and your YouTube name. If it's not your, if you like Lewis Williamson, if your actual name is Lewis Williamson, you can just put Lewis Williamson because that's what I've written on the back of your sticker. That's fine. Same with you, Angus. If that's just your actual name, then you're fine. But that'll do. So there you go. Giving a few extra ones away. Don't forget, of course, it will take me hundreds of years to get these out to you because I suck ass, basically. I do suck absolutely. I've got 1 sticker left. You know what? You know what? Back of the hand. Ready? It's a number between 643 and 673. No, start again. 643 and 653. Go. It's a number between 643 and 653. What is the number on the back of my hand? Between 643 and 653. Between 643 and 653. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to fill the air, so I'm not talking. So, see, when thy creator's not here, he doesn't just type in each number one by one. You see, Double D custom builds. Well done. It is in fact 647. So you came in late, but you managed to snag yourself a sticker. So Daryl D, and I'll put a word on here, and the word will be limpet. Limpets, plural limpets. So Daryl, well done. Win yourself a sticker last minute. Send me an email, fox@modelmakingguru.com. The address is always there on screen. fox@modelmakingguru.com with your name, address, and if it's separate to your name, if it's different, your YouTube handle. And I will eventually get all these sent out to you. So well done, everyone. Bit of fun there at the end, why not? It was quite funny that those 2 answers, they both gave me half the name each. It was like, were you 2 working together to get a sticker each? Is that what was going on there? Aidan Jones says, the only question I have a chance at. Ask a question like, okay, here's a question for the next sticker. Who in chat is Aidan Jones? The answer, of course, is me. So Aidan would type me and get a sticker. There you go. I'm waffling now. I need to put these stickers. I've lost my list. There it is. These are all the ones I need to send out. I did say a little while ago that I do have a few stickers left over from the last 6 months that people haven't mailed me about. Deaths 0079 was one. There's a few others who I'm still waiting on emails with their names and addresses. So if you've mailed me and you haven't had a sticker back yet, then you don't need to mail me again. I will have your email. But yes, there are a few like Death 0079 and Rabbit, who actually mentioned earlier on. So we know about that one. And Jan's Car says, right, going now, I'm going to put on dinner. I too will be going shortly. I'm going to go and phone up the little people, my little friends in the Chinese takeaway nearby, and I will have them deliver it to my door. The little man that comes to the door and says, here's some food. And I say, fantastic. And then I eat it all and I get fat and it's brilliant. And he's like 3 foot tall. He's a lovely guy. Anyway, I think that's gonna. Anything else in chat? Sai says, "Oh no, I went for a P42." The only question I have a chance at, says Aidan. Aww. Yes, thy creator likes to just spam through every single number. It doesn't always win though. Right, so I think like Eons, I'm going to go myself and sort out dinner. We shall leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. I will, of course. I still have I've got tons and tons of this stuff to do. I've still got another colour to go. Once I've done all the Yori yellow, I've got this to do as well, and that's just this post shading bit. So there's lots and lots and lots of scope for more of these live streams. I may come back and do one later on this evening. I don't know yet. Depends how much. If I get the meat sweats after me beef udon, I might not. But I might come back and do one. So stay tuned. If you are subscribed to this channel, if you're not subscribed to the channel, why? Sort that out. If you are subscribed, make sure to hit the notification bell. Either next to the channel subscription button, or it's next to on the front page. It says how many subscribers there are, wherever it is. Hit that notification bell. If you hit that, then every time I start, there's a little fold in my. I've got to do this. There's a little fold in my fluffy microphone cover that I've got to just. I know you can hear that, but it's so strokeable. I have to just. Oh, it's so soft. It's like a chinchilla sat on top of my microphone. It's awesome. Yes, if you hit the notification bell, then you'll get a notification every time as soon as I start a live stream, theoretically. Or whenever I post a video up. So a lot of these videos, they may be very last minute, and I might not get a chance to post up on Facebook or Twitter or anywhere else that I'm actually doing one. So if you don't follow me on the social medias, if you don't see anything on the social medias, you might not know there's a stream. So make sure to hit that notification bell. Do it for all the channels you follow. It's the way you should be. So we might do one tonight. If not, I'm not going to do one tomorrow because I'm taking a day off tomorrow. Sunday, of course, I'm back with the Warhammer Sunday stream at 3 PM on Sunday. As always, I'm working on my... what am I working on? I'm working on this fella you saw earlier, my little Angry Marine. He'll be continuing on with him. Monday will be the eModels live stream, of course. And then throughout the rest of next week, I'll do more of these live streams as I've got lots more dry brushing and chipping and all sorts of stuff to do. So there's plenty more of these to come. The video build series for the Sazabi is Patreon exclusive. So if you want to see the actual video build videos, episode 3 is up now. I've only just started filming episode 4. That's Patreon exclusive. You need to be a patron, so you need to become a patron at patreon.com/modelmakingguru. $10 plus patrons get to watch all exclusive content. But if not, these streams are all going to be open for everybody, so at least you've got something to be watching. But I shall leave it there. So I shall go and get me sort me dinner out now. I might see you later on this evening. If not, I'll see you back on Sunday anyway. I'll see how it goes on Saturday. I might possibly do a stream on Saturday. I don't know yet. We'll see. But until next time, I'm just going to say, don't forget, if you want to support this channel, you can do through Patreon. You can use my Goblin Game link, which is in the description below the video. 20% off Games Workshop, Conflict 47, and Malifaux, and massive savings on all the other ranges they stock. And using that link helps me out because it gives me a little bit of income from that link as well. But don't forget, of course, you've also got my Amazon store where you can buy lots of stuff, and you've got my merch as well, and of course emodels.co.uk, my sponsors, so make sure to visit them. All the links are in the description below the video, so go and check them all out, spend lots of money and help this channel out. Anyway, that's going to do me. So until next time, I shall say, take care of yourselves. I might see you later, I might not. Take care of yourselves, enjoy your dinner, whatever that may be. Go make something awesome, go be awesome, you there. And until next time, I will say adios amoebas. Oh, hang on, I've got to press a button.